So today we have the great and wonderful Kyle Elrod. He is the owner of Kona Ice. He's owned Subways, and he's owned Tokens, and he's owned Movie Guy. This guy is amazing. I'm really looking forward to this discussion. Who did own Tokens?
It was a guy named Stephen Goot out of Atlanta. He had he was part of a group, and they had a Tokens also in Atlanta. And their idea was they were going to do all over the South. They were going to do these Tokens. And he was from the company that he was with did audiovisual stuff. Like when the big, rock groups would come into the Omni down in Atlanta, they would be the ones that provided the sound for that and things like that. And so that's where he kind of got his start. And they had just tons and tons of money. And they were going to just go ahead and thought they were going to roll these out all over the country, or at least all over the South. And as it kind of proved, arcades were not really a viable business model of themselves. Usually if you did an arcade, you needed to have something to supplement it.
Pizza
or hot dogs. Fantasy World, I think, out there had burgers and stuff with theirs. And of course with Tokens, we were just the arcade. Now I worked at Oz too, Land of Oz in the mall.
Yeah, boy, we need to talk about that one, don't we?
Yeah. And that was owned by Bally, which Bally is a big company all across the country. They have hotels and things like that and gyms.
I remember the Land of Oz being the first video or arcade that I'd ever been in.
It was not the actual first. There was several booms through the years.
I guess that's the one I remember. I would have been probably 12 or something, maybe 11.
Right. There were some other ones. I can remember back, it might have been around the time that Oz opened. There was one that was over in, what's that plaza called there, across from the Village, the little plaza on Grove Avenue up there.
Yeah.
Backs up to Grove Avenue.
That would have been before my time.
That was, not a lot though, because Oz opened in 75.
So
and there were...
How long were they open?
In the mall?
Yeah.
They opened in 75 and they closed. I guess they closed when that new mall opened. What was that, 91, I think?
So they were there for a while.
They were there about 16 years. Well, but they had the backing of that big company. Bally can keep that thing going.
Yeah.
When I was working at Oz, Tokens was kind of like a comet. It shot through the sky and it kind of flamed out.
How long was Tokens around?
Tokens
maybe
was there
3 years or something?
No. It was less than that. It opened in November of 81, and it closed in February of 83. So it was only about 15 months that it was there.
I drove by there constantly.
It was crazy when that thing was as hot as it was. When I was working there, I wasn't working one night, but I was out with a couple of friends. We came back from Chattanooga, and it was like 3 in the morning, something like that. And the manager was over there, had kept that open. The place was packed, 3 in the morning on a Friday night.
Oh, that's where we'd meet up with people and ride off from there. And it was kind of a narrow, wasn't that deep of a building.
Well, it was the old laundromat, is what it was. And they had gone in, and it had a really unique design to it because I don't know what they've done now. I know Alan Jones has it with the check into cash.
Yeah.
That's his retail outlet over there. But they had gone and put another level on it.
I remember the level.
So when you went in, there were several games on the lower level, and then you went up top, and there were games up there too.
Asteroids, that was my game.
Yeah. We had, at Tokens, I think we had Asteroids there, but we had a lot of the real popular games, but we had a lot of games there that you didn't really see a lot of, that were also real popular just because of that. People went, oh, what's this?
Do you have any old tokens or memorabilia from there?
I might have a T-shirt somewhere that I'm sure wouldn't fit me, but might fit my dog.
I know on Whoop FM, Doc Hollywood's disco dance show, he alludes to the times when he would go there a lot. And I don't guess you knew Earl Wiseman, did you? Probably.
I don't think I did.
How old are you?
I'm 63.
So you're a hair older than me, and so anyway, that was good times. But the land of Oz, I guess everybody my age, if they don't remember, they will recall the guy that got killed.
Right.
And I've been asking around. He worked there. Did you know him?
He worked in the mall. He was not at Oz.
The security guard.
He was a security guard there. It was before I started working at Oz.
Oh.
But he was killed in that alley right there. There was an alley right there
out
beside
to the back door.
It was in between Oz and Rose's there on the end of that mall, and he was killed in that alley. And what would happen? When I worked there, I was like the assistant manager. And so I would have to go in on Friday mornings, and we would empty all those tokens and, do all your reconciliation for the week. And I would be in there, 5:30, 6 in the morning, and security guard was in there all night. There was somebody in there. And I think, it's been a long time, like 45 years is when he got killed. But I believe that one of those guys, there were two guys that were involved in that. One of them either had worked at Oz,
I think so,
or had some sort of connection to someone that did, which is really, I don't know what they were looking to do. I don't know whatever happened with that, if it ended up being a robbery or what, but that was, you weren't going to really get a lot of money out of there.
No,
because
I guess they were just teenagers at the time.
Everything went out of there every day, so there was not anything.
Maybe they were trying to rob the mall. If I remember, it was a guy that worked there, and I guess he knew that there was change or something.
Yes, but
they said there was. I talked to Tom Rowland this week because he ran the radio station. He reported on it quite a bit, and he said there was blood on the ceiling, that there was blood all through the mall where they'd chased him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was horrible, wasn't it? I think the guy. They think he was still alive, or that the guy that killed him still in jail this whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Still been in there.
Still in there. That's what I'd like to find out more about that.
We should look that up.
Well, one time I went to this. I think that his granddaughter was the bookkeeper at Beatty's for years.
The granddaughter of the
guy that got killed, the security guard. Well, we just don't hear anything about that. Was a big deal then, though, wasn't it?
It was.
How long was it after that you went to work there?
I'm thinking that happened 81 or 2 when the murder was.
Yeah.
And I started in 83. I was there for 2 years. I left in 85. And that's when I started Movie Guy, the video store then.
I don't think I ever went into Movie Guy.
How was that possible?
Was you over a bit close to Cook, somebody said?
Yeah, we were on the corner there where Prestige Salon is now. We were right there on the corner. And then we had another one at Bradley Commons up where Food Line is. We were the store right beside Food Line.
I don't think I ever went there either.
Well, you had a family connection that had another one.
My brother, that's right. I guess he had what was the name of his movie place?
Was he Movie Magic?
I don't remember.
Was that him?
I don't remember.
I think it was. He was up on Michigan Avenue, I believe.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a time there where there were not just one on every corner. There was 3 on every corner for a long time there.
I remember going to Oakley Woody's.
Yeah.
Remember Oakley Woody had one up on North Lake Highway?
Yep.
That's about when I started watching movies, but then I started going to Hollywood Video and then to Blockbuster, I guess.
Well, Blockbuster was the first of those. Blockbuster opened in 89. We opened in 85. Blockbuster opened in 89. Hollywood was a little bit later. Because when Hollywood came in, I think they came in around 96 or 97.
I guess after Max built the Staples Center, I guess.
Right. When they came in, that's when everything just got so saturated because, Blockbuster had 200 copies of new things. Hollywood had 200 copies. Mm-hmm. And we had a little program we were doing that was direct with the studios where we would have not that kind of number, but we would do, 40 or 50 of certain titles.
Were you doing it before they came to town?
I wasn't doing the multiple copies like that, but yeah, we were open in 85.
What made you think, hey, this would be a good thing?
Okay,
that's got to be interesting.
Yeah, well, market research, here was my market research. That summer of 85, mm-hmm. I was going to be graduating school in December from UTC, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Did any of us really?
No,
I didn't know. And I was just out looking for movies one Friday night, and I didn't have any interest in Karate Kid at all. But it had been out about a year, and you still could not get that anywhere in town. It was out everywhere. Terminator, same way. I'd already seen the Terminator. I didn't care about that either. But they were all out everywhere you went. And I just went, there's room for more of these. If you got to wait a year to see one of these, there's room for more of these. And on top of that, there were several titles that I knew about that the local places weren't bringing in. So that's kind of when Movie Guy started. Well, the whole time that I had Movie Guy going, there were more unusual titles that we would bring in that were a little more of a cult movies, I guess you would call them.
Yeah. The Big Lebowski. That's about the time it came out, maybe.
That was about the time I got out, was when they came. Yeah. But Coen Brothers, they made that. A lot of their stuff. Yeah, we were bringing in that stuff. And there was a movie called Eraserhead. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Mm-hmm. That's a David Lynch movie. Mm-hmm. That is, it was on at the Showcase in Chattanooga as a midnight movie once, and they were promoting it as the strangest movie ever made. And it probably is. And anyway, we brought that in, and that drew people because there were some people that were specifically looking for something like that. And so, and Eraserhead got stolen every time I would find that movie because it was out of print. Every time I'd find it, somebody would steal it. But we tried to keep that in, and because the people that would come and rent those would be the same people that would rent Karate Kid and Terminator. So you just tried to build a loyal clientele by providing those kind of movies that we can go to the Movie Guy, and if they're out of Karate Kid, they're going to have something interesting. Mm-hmm. And so that was my mindset when I went into that. Of course, once Blockbuster came, they opened that up. They had a ton of titles as well. And then, of course, Hollywood made it even that much more. But I could kind of see the writing on the wall with what was going on with technology and pay-per-view. At that time, of course, they didn't have streaming. Right. But you knew that was going to be coming. And so, and I was in that with my mom, the Movie Guy, when she passed away. My heart wasn't in it anymore. And the thing that's difficult about being in a video rental kind of situation is you have a little bit of an adversarial relationship with your customers because you don't need them to be late. You don't need them to steal your movies. Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of like the teacher spanking their hand,
like the librarian, the books lady.
It's not a good situation to be in. And you're also depending on their performance, and their performance needs to be good for you to perform like you should with your titles. If somebody steals a movie and you never see that movie again, at that time they were like $70, $80.
And all you were going to get was $2.50, $3 for it?
Yeah, right. Well, $3 would have been a high price back then. When I got started, everything was $3 for $5.
You had to rent it out 20 times.
Well, at $3 for $5, more than that, and that was for 2 days. So, looking back on it, there's a lot of things I would have done differently as a business model. I would have never had late fees. It would have just been a straight rental fee. So, if it's this much a day, keep it another day, it's the same amount. Keep it another day, same amount. And I probably would have tried to do something to where, somebody wouldn't keep a movie, 2 months or something like that. Although we tried to recover what we could. But that was that part of the business was always difficult. And it was hard to, if you showed grace to people, we had a computer printout every day that had our late list on there. And, if we're like this, late list is like this, and somebody brings in a movie, it's a couple days late, you're a good customer, don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Like a week later, your late list is like this.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Right. Yeah. So it was very difficult to find that balance of where you were accommodating everyone, but keeping yourself viable. Although we did well, that was, I was in that for like 13 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah, a long time. But we did well with that. But it was, and it was a lot of fun. I made a lot of friends from that. There's still a lot of people that know me from that. Not near as many that know me from Tokens. I still run into, I was 20 years old when I was working at Tokens. And people still know me from seeing me over there at the Village. I don't know that I even look the same, but they know me from that. But a lot of people know me from the movie guy too, because 13 years we had probably 20,000 members between the two stores.
Boy, that's a lot.
So, a lot of those come once and then you don't see them again. But we had a really good core that was very supportive of us and very loyal. And, some of that I miss, but there's a lot of that, as I said, that I don't miss. But it was a fun business. It was entertaining to me as well as entertaining to the customers. So, I'm glad that I was a part of that. That helped me get into other things that were bigger and better. But that was a fun time.
I really miss the days of, I remember I would get really burned out and I would stop by one of the movie places and I'd get 3 or 4 movies and I'd go home Saturday night and I'd watch movies all day Sunday and just really unwind.
Yeah.
And I miss those days because just getting it on Netflix or YouTube, it's not the same as I've got the movie.
Right.
I need to watch it. I've got to turn it in Monday. Okay, we're going to watch this movie. You had, it was more tangible. Does that make sense?
Well, and even in the store, here's the box.
It's the box.
You pick the box up.
I've
the box
checked
tells
it out.
You all about
Here's
it.
your receipt.
Right.
I've got now I've got a date to watch this movie.
It's more of an experience.
Exactly.
To do that. And
now it's I'll watch it, and then now you rent the movie, and then you can go back in a week and watch it. But I was in going to Dayton, Tennessee, and I stopped, and that was in the hype of everything. And I stopped at a Mexican restaurant, and outside was this red box.
Yeah.
And I thought, what in the world is that? And it said movies, and it had 10 movies in it or something. I thought, well, that'll never fly. The next week, it was over for the video rentals, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but literally it was quick.
There are still, I think Redbox is still around some places.
And they probably, but if I go down to McKay's bookstore, it is unbelievable. They are as packed there as any store ever was. It's amazing. People still watch VHS or those cassette things. They still read books. They still get magazines.
I took, I went down there. I took some books to trade in for credit.
Yep, I've done that.
And I wanted to get there a little bit early because I had a lot of books. I probably had a couple hundred books I was taking in there. And I got there about 8:45. They opened at 9 o'clock. There was a line.
Already?
Waiting to get in there. Probably 30 people.
It's amazing.
And yeah, it is. And they also, you were mentioning the cassettes, they had laser discs, not DVDs, laser discs, you know. They've got just about everything.
And records, vinyl. I got my vinyls here.
Vinyl is big now. That's what I go to McKay's for. And you can get some really good deals there.
I'm gonna let you look so cute.
Okay, we're going to look at records.
I got some vinyls right here.
All right.
See if any of them's worth anything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Van Morrison.
Well, I would think that your Van Morrison here on Bang Records probably has some value if that's in good shape. Kind of hard to tell. These are all Van Morrison.
Yep. I'm a Van Morrison fan.
Well, you are, aren't you?
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, that's Van Morrison too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the one you can't
have
find.
Enough Brown-Eyed Girl, can you?
Well, he's got other songs too.
Well, I'm saying it's on the album and it's on the thing. Oh, the Dick Clark Rock and Roll. I remember that.
The guy that works here with me, he is really into it, man.
Well, this is back to what you were saying a minute ago about the videos when you go in the video store. Tangible,
right?
That's
right,
the thing.
Right.
When you've got streaming, and I've got streaming at home. I've got streaming. I've got great audio streaming through my stereo, but it's not. When you put that streaming on, you're more likely to pick up your phone, see what's going on at your phone, you know, or doing this or doing that. When you're picking this up, walking over there, putting it on the thing, you've got the album cover, you're more likely to be doing this, you know, looking at this, listening to the record, than you are when you've got streaming going. And, you know, streaming's just like, I don't want to say it's background noise, because it's not, but you're more likely to treat it that way. So you got two of these.
Yeah.
Wow, you must really like that.
I like Astral Weeks.
Astral Weeks. That looks like an original. Is that an original?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All of these are Van Morrison.
Are we boring you, Gwen?
No.
I'm sure people are going to be real excited
about
this.
Johnny must have got these, because I didn't realize he had got
You got another one of those. What are you going to do, start selling those?
Yeah. Look, I got them. That was when Van Morrison was with them.
Gloria. Yep. Good gracious. That's all you have here.
Yeah.
That's the remake of that one.
Yeah.
Re-release.
The one you can't find is of Van Morrison is the one that has the Queen of the Slipstream. I can't think of it, what it is. It's one specific album that you just can't find. It's like a big collector's item. I can't think of that.
I'll bet you I can find it. Text me when this is over.
I will. I'll think of it in a minute. Can't think of the name of it.
His stuff is in the used sections, especially the early stuff, is hard to find.
It's really
people grab those up when they see him.
People are with Van Morrison. It's more of a cult following. You know, like the Big Lebowski, and Van Morrison, and there are certain people that like that specific thing.
But he was also big.
Oh, he was big.
He had, early 70s. He was late 60s, too.
He's one of the best singer-songwriters that there ever was. I mean, he's got every kind of music you like, and it's just really good.
I never got to see him.
I've seen him about 6 times.
Have you?
In concert, yeah.
Lately?
Last time I saw him, I think I had bought tickets to see him at the Madison Square Garden.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big deal, and that was one of the few. He prefers outdoor venues, but I bought tickets, and they must have messed up or something, because I gave them to the guy and he walked me down. I thought, boy, he's going to get me close. I thought I was back further. He walked me all the way to the front aisle. I don't know if they made a mistake. Really? I told Tama, I said, well, somebody will ask us to move here in a minute. They never did.
Wow.
He was from me to Gwen.
How long ago was that?
maybe 12 years ago or something.
I had a chance to see him. He was at the Ryman over in Nashville. And this is back when I was in a band that Gwen is familiar with. And we had a gig that night. And I sold my tickets instead of.
Oh.
Well, I had a loyalty to that band. Show must go on, you know. So I didn't get to see him. That's one of several that I missed because it's Dexter Thomas. I was in Dexter
Thomas, yeah. They've been around a while.
A long time.
They're all very talented.
Very talented, and most of them have music degrees, which I never had.
They mostly play yacht rock sort of stuff, right? What would you consider yacht rock?
I would think they're a little edgier than that, a little bit. I mean, there's things in there, yeah, that you'd probably say are.
Well, yacht rock is very wide range.
Yeah, but to me, when I think of yacht rock, I think of Christopher Cross,
John Ford Coley,
England Dan.
Boy, they were good.
Michael McDonald.
Does the new generation realize how good Dan England was?
I don't think they even know who he was.
Do you remember? And Dan England. John Ford Coley, right?
England Dan Seals. It was Dan Seals, and he was related to Seals from Seals and Crofts. And he passed away, gosh, it's been a long time.
And then they brought in John Ford.
They were together. It was the two of them. It was England Dan and John Ford Coley.
But England Dan was his nickname, right? He was really
Dan Seals.
Dan Seals.
Right. And I don't know how he got that nickname.
Boy, they got about the 4 best songs ever written.
In the late 70s.
Late 70s.
They were pretty big there.
Well, they were a group that they were right on the edge of hard rock music, weren't they?
Were they?
I think so.
I didn't really know anything but what was on the radio.
Well, that was, let's see, Nights Are Forever. What was that song?
Nights Are Forever Without You.
Yeah. That was one of their big hits.
Yeah, that was. Love Is the Answer.
And
that's actually,
that came a little later.
Well, that's a Todd Rundgren song. He actually wrote that, and they did a cover of that. And I don't know. All of their stuff might have been covers. I don't know.
They had about 4 hits that were widely played,
right,
like in the top 10, and then along came, I guess, was it disco?
Well, they were right during the time of disco.
See, that was the problem. Their music got overshadowed with.
But in the 70s, you had such a diverse.
Very diverse.
You know, the styles of music that were going on then. You had hard rock, you had pop, you had disco, you had what we call now yacht rock.
Yeah.
You had all of that going on.
And you had country on the other end coming along.
Breaking through. You know, you had bands like the Eagles that were, you know, really on that country side.
They were sort of rhythm, and then they became rhythm and blues. And then they came out with one of the 2 best rock songs, you know, back in the fast lane.
Yeah, Life in the Fast Lane.
Life in the Fast Lane and
Hotel
California.
They had some rockers.
They went from that. They went from what was one of their earlier songs that was
Best of My Love was more country, kind of.
Yeah, that was more when they were more into the softer rhythm.
Line Eyes.
Yes, Line Eyes. Yeah, Line Eyes.
Take It to the Limit.
Take It to the Limit. You know, I always thought about that "Take It to the Limit" song. It's really saying the opposite of the tune. It's that, you know, Van Morrison does a lot of that where the beat is slow and mellow, but the message is hard and fast. Take it to the limit. You should take it to the limit one more time, always.
I have a story about that you may or may not find funny or may not find interesting. That particular song. when I was in marching band at Bradley in the late 70s. Back then, everybody had 8 tracks. Do you remember 8 tracks?
Yeah.
And 8 tracks had,
Running with the Devil.
You would have it would have like 4 programs on the 8 track, and each one would have 3 songs. And we were going to Ray County for their game over there. And back then, you didn't have that bridge. You had to drive all the way around.
Yep.
So it was a couple hours to go to Ray County. And we were on the bus going over there, and somebody had the 8 track of Eagles' greatest hits, I believe it was. And that tape, the player of the tape was messed up, and it would only play those 3 songs.
Which was what?
It was Take It to the Limit, it was Lion Eyes, and believe it or not, I can't remember what the other one was, but I remember those 2 for sure. Yeah. And all the way over there, 2 hours, those 3 songs. All the way back, those 3 songs. So that kind of soured me on the Eagles a little bit, and particularly those songs.
Yeah, those.
But, Take It to the Limit was actually Randy Meisner singing that. Most of their songs are sung by either Don Henley or Glenn Frey. And Randy sang that. And that high note at the end, that's how he ended up.
That was one that had the long hair, played the bass, is that right?
Yes.
He would just kind of stand there and rock back and forth as they played.
Yeah, he didn't do lead much.
No.
Usually he'd have 1 or 2 songs on the albums.
Yeah.
But he didn't have
He was a good singer.
He was good.
Yeah. They just didn't give him the...
And he just passed away not too long ago.
That's right, I remember that.
But he was always nervous about doing that high note on the end to Take It to the Limit. And he got to where he was saying, I don't want to do this song. And, of course, they made him. That band, I don't know how much you know about them. There's a documentary out there.
I watched that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of a dictatorship between Fry and Henley.
Right.
They call the shots.
They didn't realize how much those other 2 played a big part of that.
But, when he said he didn't want to do that anymore, then they just pushed him out. And but I guess... I don't know who sang that after he left, but they always have to do it. It's probably Vince Gill now, but...
Which one was it? Don Henley. Mm-hmm. Don Henley sang Leather and Lace.
With Stevie Nicks.
Mm-hmm. As good of a song as you've ever heard. Am I right?
It's a good song. That's kind of... not really in my wheelhouse.
but it's a good song.
Oh, yeah. As Stevie Nicks songs go, yeah.
But it denotes that era of music and his time.
Right. That was early 80s, about when, I don't know if the Eagles had already broken up, but they probably had.
That was about the time they found out drugs were bad.
Yeah. Well, it's what we saw going to concerts. I don't know when you started going to shows. I started going about 77, and back then you would go to shows, and drugs were in the open.
Oh, yeah.
You'd go,
that's what I'm saying.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They really didn't know they were bad.
Right. And it was 3-4 years later, 80, 81, around then, they really started cracking down when you would go to a show. Which I really liked.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't, but I did.
Oh, I did.
And it was a lot nicer to go to shows then. But that was right around that time. I think that song was 81, 82, something like that. Right around there. But
now
he's a great singer. I don't know that he gets credit for being the singer that he is.
And sometimes I'm not sure if it matters about the singer's voice. It's the passion or something.
Yeah, it's what's behind
like Hank Williams Sr. He really didn't have a good voice.
What's the energy?
What's
the energy?
You can have any of them or all of them. See, Van Morrison, you can't hardly understand what he's saying because he talks in an Irish brogue.
Right.
Now, was it John Ford Coley that went on independent and then came out with that real big hit, and it was a country music song?
Yeah, he had more than one hit, I think, on the country charts. But I'm really
Maybe
not.
Keith Whitley's song, Montana. Meet Me in Montana.
Okay. We had tried. Another thing I used to do. Do you remember Evening Shade, the concert series?
Yeah.
I ran that for about 5 years, and we were trying to get John Ford Coley for that.
Oh Lord.
We weren't able to. The list of people we weren't able to get, it's like this long. When I took that over, we were trying to find a few names that people would recognize. Because not that there was anything wrong with the acts that we were doing, but they were all pretty much, you weren't drawing anybody from Chattanooga,
right,
to come see what's going on at Evening Shade. And that was an older crowd, that came to that, which that was fine too. And we wanted to maintain that, but we wanted to broaden it a little bit, to where we'd have maybe more families coming and things like that. Anyway, when I started doing that, the first act we brought in was Henry Gross. Do you remember Henry?
Nope.
Henry had that song Shannon in '76 about the dog that floated away.
Yeah, but that was a little bit...
before your time.
No,
there.
but not my style. It's okay, but not my style.
But it was a big hit.
A big
that
hit.
Song
Yeah,
was
it was a big hit.
And he had also, he was one of the, I don't know if he was a founder, but he was in Sha Na Na.
Oh, yeah.
In the 60s.
He did like that with his arms.
And he actually played at Woodstock with Sha Na Na. And he had some other songs that were not big hits, but were hits. And anyway, we brought him in. That was a big success because a lot of people had heard of him. They showed up for that. That year we also had Leon Redbone. Does that ring a bell for you?
Yeah, does it?
Okay.
Don't tell me. Well, they had a big hit.
You're thinking of Redbone, the band.
Yeah.
This is Leon Redbone. The thing you're probably going to know him from, that most people knew him from, did you ever see Elf with Will Ferrell?
Oh, yeah.
The Snowman.
Oh.
In Elf. That's Leon Redbone. And he had done a bunch of commercials. In the early days of Saturday Night Live, he was kind of a semi-regular on there as a musical guest.
Real early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like 75, 76, in through there. And so we brought him in, and that was a huge show for us. We had people coming from. He has people that follow or did.
What do it cost to have somebody like that? I guess we'd be shocked. It's probably room and board and transportation and $5,000 or something.
Now, I couldn't do that now because to find acts, any act that has any kind of a name now that's not just local. Would be way out of our budget.
What would the budget be?
Well, our budget, our highest budget we had in the 5 years that I did it was $14,000 for the whole season.
That wasn't going to work.
And a lot of times we'd have to do 5 shows.
Yeah.
And that's not just the acts. That's, your sound, your publicity, all of that stuff. So that was not much a budget. But we could spend a little more, like I tried to do. Leon was a little bit more than what we were spending for some of the others. We had some other people. We had I can't think of his name now. I had it in my head just a second ago. He was the drummer from Rare Earth, and Rare Earth did Get Ready, which everybody knows, and I Just Want to Celebrate, which everybody knows. We brought him in, and unfortunately, I think we got rained out. We didn't get rained out, but when it would rain, we'd have to move to Arnold School, to that auditorium. Anytime we were moved inside, we just didn't have the crowd that we did when we were at Johnston Park.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could think of his name. It's Peter. I don't know what Peter's last name is, but he was...
What made those? You think about now, you could get semi-famous if you had enough money to put it on YouTube or Facebook.
Well, and get people to watch it.
Get people to watch it. You could eventually sell it. But those guys, how did they couldn't all hire a big producer and. You have to have all that other stuff. You can't just sing real good in the shower. Nobody's going to hear you.
How did they get big? Is that what you're saying?
Do they just have to go from bar to bar to bar to theater to theater and then to amphitheater to amphitheater?
It depends on the band, or did back then. first thing you had to have was label support. So if you had, first of all, you had to get on a label. You had to get a record.
Yeah, but even prior to that,
you had to have a record company.
What could?
Well, people were just sending in demos, and labels would have departments that would go through the demos and see what they liked from those demos.
You'd have to have a following.
And then you'd be out playing. You'd probably play every night of the week. You'd be
have
out
a little bit of a crowd
in clubs, and hopefully you can hook up with some band that you could open for them, that people would see you.
That would take 5 to 10 years of just constant going in buses.
It did for some. Some hit pretty quick. Band I'm thinking of is Queen.
Yeah.
Queen started.
But weren't they kind of they were more of a they were what you call what do they call that? They're a theatrical.
Well, but they didn't start that way, though. I mean, the music was, but they started just like every other band. They were playing in clubs. They were playing, and then they started getting some good opening slots with other bands. And a band like Queen is going to get a big word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so that word of mouth spreads, and within a couple years, they had albums that were shooting up the charts. Now, what you're saying with Facebook, YouTube, things like that, you can see. I can't remember what was the guy. He was like a country guy that was around here. He had red hair and like a beard and a guitar.
Oh yeah.
What was that guy?
Yeah,
Do you know Gwen?
Who
that guy was?
He had that song here like in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big song.
Yeah, like a year or two.
Yeah, 3 words. He got big.
Overnight.
I
mean, like nothing.
Literally. By noon, he was big.
Right.
He had the one song, right?
Yeah, right. And he thought he was big time. He started asking like $100,000 for every gig.
Yeah, they say you're not that good. You're just like the song.
Right.
Then you got Jelly Roll. Didn't he start out? Well, he went through the trenches too, didn't he?
Right. But he did it more. It's different with all of them now. With all your social media, with everything you have on the internet, it's just a different environment.
I wonder if it's the same way to get there. I don't. Of course, back then people would go to concerts. Now, I don't know if people would even go to a concert really like they did, like when we did. It was a big deal.
I went to Paul McCartney Monday night.
Oh, did you?
And there were State Farm Arena, whatever it holds now. It was full for 2 nights.
Is that right?
And that was I didn't pay this, but the average was probably about $1,000 a ticket.
I found out at those things that the cheaper tickets really have a better view, a little better view. They're higher usually.
I'll tell you the secret when we're not being seen here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has to do with people don't really know what a good seat is.
Right.
So you're on to it.
Yeah, I'm on to it. Yeah.
But what they do now is they call these things pricing flexible. And so what happens is they'll put tickets on sale, like that McCartney show went on sale back in the summer, like June, July, something like that. And those tickets, all of them were, $1,000 and up. And resellers jump on those thinking, well, we'll be able to sell them for $2,000 if they're $1,000 here. Well, they got stuck with a lot of those. And so, we ended up getting really good seats for just a small fraction.
You had to watch Ticket Stub and all those places, right?
StubHub. Ticketmaster itself has a resale.
They have a.
You can go in there. The map shows you what's resale from Ticketmaster. And the closer you get, everybody thinks, well, as you get closer to the show, that value is going to go up. No,
you don't know. You don't know.
They have an ice cream cone that's melting in their hand.
And it's getting close.
Right. So you have some leverage as you're getting closer to a show. And I've never paid.
But there's a chance of not going.
Yeah, there's a chance. But there's never been a show that I've missed that I have waited and not been able to get the ticket for. I've always been able to do something, and always at a lesser price than I would have if I had tried, from the beginning.
I always think
And that's a secret I should be telling you when the camera's off, because I don't want to give my secrets away here.
Well, I always look at where the bathroom and concession stand is and get seats that are semi, because that's more important.
Well, we had
There's
that
nothing
Monday
worse than
night.
having to go to the bathroom.
We were right there by the bathroom and the all the concessions up there. So it was a great. We were right up. What you were saying, high. We weren't way high, but we were high enough to where we were up and could see well.
The most I ever paid for tickets, I was celebrating something, and in my personal life, and I got 2 tickets to the UFC in Las Vegas to see Conor McGregor fight Jose Aldo.
Really?
Paid $1,600 a seat. It lasted 8 seconds.
Oh my goodness! Did you?
It was
how much is
horrible.
that per second? That's
It was a
$200 a second. Is that what that is?
and just the whole environment. It was worth it. It was really worth it. And I don't say that about much, but it was worth it. If you ever been to one of them,
I have not.
it is worth it. The next time I went, I bought one of those $76 seats, and they were just fine.
Yeah.
So I averaged it in my mind, you know.
Yeah. Well, there is a aside from the view and whatnot you have from the seat, there is an excitement.
Sure, yeah.
To being right up front. You might not see near as well. You probably won't if you're right up front. But there is an excitement to being right there on it.
Oh, yeah, and as you walk in, they got the life-size posters, and there is something to that, isn't it? To all that excitement building and everything.
It is. Well, I mean, Paul McCartney, you know, he's huge. Even though he's 83 years old.
Huge.
I mean, is there a bigger star on the planet?
I
Has
guess
anybody over the course of their lifetime been as big a star as he is?
You got Elvis,
who's not with us anymore.
who's not with us, and I
mean,
can't think of
nobody
anybody
has
else. There's
had
nobody.
Of course,
nobody.
there was nobody bigger than the Beatles. And
I'd say Steve Perry would, if he was singing. He doesn't sing no more, right? He got some kind
I think he's supposed to be doing something. I thought he was going to be doing something soon.
from Journey, right?
Yeah.
I'd say that he would be a big.
Well, he's not the Beatles.
No, but I'd rather listen to his music.
Well, okay, but I think
Most people would want to see
think
him. Yeah,
worldwide,
right, yeah.
you're going to see that Paul
Yeah.
McCartney would be a bigger star than probably anybody else you could name that's still active, and maybe over those that are gone. But you know, he's 83, so his voice is. Got a little bit of that old man warble in it, you know, but he was singing fine. I'd seen him about 3 years ago. He sang better the other night than he did when I saw him a few years ago.
I'd like to see John Cougar Mellencamp.
He was in Chattanooga not
was
too
he?
terribly long ago.
I'm gonna have to get. Was it Tivoli?
I think he was.
I'm gonna have to get.
Right before the Tivoli closed.
I
believe.
saw. Oh, are they closed now?
Well, they're remodeling.
Okay.
But they've been remodeling for like 5
Yeah.
years.
Well, I went to I went and saw Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
And I always liked Jackson Brown music. You got to like Jackson Brown, right?
I saw him with James Taylor. Jackson was the opening act, and then James Taylor, and I probably preferred Jackson Brown. James
Taylor only had about 4 good songs.
But he had a ton of hits.
Had a ton of hits. But I only really liked his, you know. You remember Keith Whitley?
I know who he was. I've never been, you know.
Did you ever listen to much of his?
I never heard a lot of, especially that contemporary country. I didn't.
He was really good. He was really good. I can go.
Drank himself to death. Is that him?
I think so.
Yeah.
But boy, he was good. Only lived a short time.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just good. You know, what makes them good like that? I don't have the talent to play stuff like that. I just don't have it. I can't, it doesn't register in my brain.
Well, I mean, some people from a young age can pick up something.
I never could.
And start on it.
I could read these plans. without any training.
Some people can sing, when they're 3 years old.
I can't sing. I can't sing, swim, or hold my temper.
I've played piano since I was 6, but it was a grind, I mean, I don't know that my talent is I have to work at it. I've got to work at anything that I play. I can't sing a lick, not a lick. And I've tried. I can't do it. So, yeah, I mean, God has to grant you those special talents.
Yeah. And to replicate it.
Right.
That's the other thing.
Right.
Who do you like, the current singers now? I mean, I still listen to current stuff.
Current singers. Are you talking about on the charts?
Yeah, I still
Wow.
listen to that.
I don't know that I know any of them.
Oh, they got some really good ones.
Tell me
now.
some good ones. Who's a good one?
Sabrina Carpenter.
I don't really. I'm just aware of her. I don't really know any of her
you're
stuff.
missing out.
Have you seen the? There's some controversy, right, over her album cover.
It wouldn't matter. She's still a star. and Molly.
Have you seen her album cover?
No.
Have you seen it, Gwen? Okay.
Is it? She knows how to promote.
Is it okay? Does it bother you if I turn over here and ask you something?
No,
Okay.
he'll
You're okay with it. We'll just edit it out if it's if we don't want it, we'll get rid of it.
Halsey's great.
I don't really know Halsey.
Of course, Miley Cyrus. She's always one of my favorites.
She's been around for a while.
Yeah, Post Malone. You gotta like Post Malone.
Okay.
I mean, most of his songs are really good. But anyway, music is so important, isn't it?
Well, it's just like the other night, and of course, this is probably the ultimate example. But Paul McCartney, look at all the memories that people have going back, Beatles
66 or something.
64 is when they came to America.
Well, think about
Ed Sullivan.
Think about how long they were playing together.
Well, they were only
4 years?
6 years.
6 years.
Well, 6 years in America. They were actually probably 10 years as far as, well, with Ringo, 8 years.
Do you realize that's a shorter time than Leave It to Beaver was on?
That's a shorter time than a lot of people have between albums now. When we were kids,
still talking about them.
Yeah, when we were kids, you would see people bring out albums 2 times a year, 3 times a year. The Beatles did that. All of that stuff that they put out was in 6 years. You look at Elton John.
And they were just kids.
When Elton John started out, those first 5 or 6 years, which were the great years
I love Elton John.
He was doing 3, 4 albums a year during all of that. So it's incredible and great too.
Did you see his duo? His duet he did with Dua Lipa? How they got that song mashed together?
That was with was it Rocket Man was part of that? I think they mashed in Rocket Man and
no,
yeah, it was Rocket Man. I think it's going to be a long, long time.
Yeah, boy, that's good.
Yeah.
Did you see that video when they were at that beach setting? It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, he had he had his farewell tour that went on for like 6 years.
Yeah. I watched the documentary. I thought they should have just left that out. We don't never confuse the art with the artist, right? I mean, you don't want to know about the personal life. It'll mess you.
Oh yeah.
Like James Taylor. He's got some skeletons. You know it.
Well, he had a big drug problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, the McCartney thing. What I was saying. The memories when you're listening to those songs. And he did almost 3 hours, and you knew every song. And he could have gone and done another 3 hours and not repeat anything, and you would have known all of those too. Right. And it's not just when you're sitting there and you're hearing those songs, you're not just hearing the music. You're thinking of, when you first heard that song.
Oh, that's what you're thinking. That's right.
When you bought that album.
Right, the memories,
what was going
the
on
good
then,
memories.
What was happening
the
in
girl
your life
you were dating,
then,
the girl you weren't dating.
all of that stuff. And it's a powerful, it goes beyond just what they're playing.
It goes way past that.
And to see an icon like that, or even an Elton John, it's a different experience than just going and seeing.
Now, if you'd had something tragic happen to you around the time that song was out, like I can't hardly listen to Steely Dan.
Yeah.
I just can't stand. I'm sure their music good. It brings up so many bad memories.
Are they yacht rock?
Yeah,
That's
they
a
would
point
be
of
yacht.
contention. Are
Yeah.
they yacht rock?
I think so. Yeah.
I disagree.
But I just can't. No, Steely Dan would be yacht rock, wouldn't they? They came out.
I would give you.
I tell you what. I tell you, they were. Steely Dan came out when they had the water slide behind the chalet, and I couldn't get in.
Yeah, but yacht rock is not a time period. Yacht rock is the style of the music. Steely Dan has a couple things that are kind of that smooth jazz kind of thing, which a lot of that yacht rock has that smooth jazz edge to it. But they're
I don't know.
They're way too snarky, way too sarcastic to be yacht rock.
Steely Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steely Dan. So what?
But how do you fit? England Dan would be yacht rock
They would.
all the way to what? To something in the early 80s?
Oh gosh, you could go later than that. I mean, look at a lot of Phil Collins.
Yeah,
stuff.
yacht.
It's not just the
I
time
never
period,
was a big Phil Collins fan.
but a lot of his stuff I would put
Yeah.
in that category. Like Genesis.
Yeah, I like Genesis. They were along the lines of Kansas, Styx, right?
Well, early Genesis had Peter Gabriel, and then the later Genesis had Phil Collins.
Well, we love music, don't we? I mean, we love. Do you have a playlist that you listen to in the mornings or anything? Or?
No, I just pick something and
We should
put
we?
it on. Well, I kind of like, looking at, okay, I'm going to play this today. A lot of times when I get up in the morning, pretty much every morning, I've got a song going through my head. I don't know if it's come from a dream or if it's something I picked up before.
You like that song?
I usually gravitate that way.
You like that song by the Four Seasons, Summer of '65, Summer.
December 63.
December 63. No, the true name's Oh What a Night.
Right. Well,
They've remixed that song and mashed it up. And man, it's a masterpiece.
have you seen Frankie Valli live?
Oh, yeah.
Have
No,
you seen
I
live
hadn't seen
lately?
live. No. But boy, his face, he had a funny looking mouth, didn't he?
Well, he's 90-something years old now, and he doesn't even lip sync anymore. He just kind of does this.
Oh.
And they've got his vocals, I guess, from 40 years ago.
Boy, he was good. That was a good song.
He was a good singer.
That's the year my grandmother died. I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was having to stay with my cousin.
When that song was out.
Yep.
So that was 76.
Yep.
right in there.
And we had to walk to the bus, and that song was out, and I remember thinking, she's died, but she wouldn't want us to be sad. And that song and that thought has been in my head all these years. Isn't that weird?
Well, every song.
But see, her dying in that song, she was the type of person that it wasn't like the Steely Dan song.
Right.
So that's real significant about her.
Right.
But boy, music is so good. And I even like some Baroque. You ever listen to some Baroque?
Oh, I got tons of classical.
Vivaldi or Handel?
Well, coming up, learning piano like I did, we went through a lot of classical in learning how to play.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I've got a lot of that. I don't have a playlist. I should probably, but I've got a few more albums than this.
Well, I love music. I like different music. One of on my morning playlist, which I just listened to the phone starts ringing, is Fine Young Cannibals.
Yeah. She Drives Me Crazy.
Oh, that was the only song they had,
Well,
right?
they had a Good Thing.
It wasn't okay. It was they only had in my mind.
But
It was
Good Thing was a big hit too.
That other one overshadowed it so much. I think.
That was their first one.
Yeah. Was a
First
good
one that
beat,
broke
wasn't it?
out.
That's a good song to wake up to.
That was the late 80s. Right? About 88, 89? I think so.
I think that more like 85.
Really?
Maybe. I think so.
Yeah. We'll have to check that, Glenn.
It was early day. It was after MTV got going pretty good.
I'm going to say 89.
You think 89?
Are we going to get an answer?
Oh, it was earlier than 89. It was more
People
like
are gonna
80,
love
not
watching
past
this.
86. Not past 86. What's a good
Are you
saying?
paying him? Does he get paid for this?
Not enough.
Not enough. 85? You're kidding me.
That was their first release.
She drives me crazy. He's 85.
That was on there, but yeah.
You're kidding me.
Like no one else.
Okay, what are you?
Just boy, that was a good song.
When was Good Thing out? Wow, I can't believe it was that old.
God,
They had a bad video for that song.
you drive me crazy. I'm sorry. That's a
Uh-oh.
re-release.
Oh, a re-release.
What?
I'm sorry.
I'm back in the game here.
Still
What did,
85, but
oh,
Well, that was a good
get
song.
out of here. I need to check my phone. I don't think his phone's right.
Well, you know, we
it
don't.
was 89.
What was Good Thing was?
Good thing, yeah. Maybe.
And She Drives Me
yeah.
Crazy wasn't right before that.
88.
88.
88.
Yeah.
Well, we were both right.
We were both wrong.
Do you, movies do the same thing, especially when a movie's got a good soundtrack, like Vision Quest? Remember how you could get a soundtrack, you could buy the album that was just the soundtrack, different mixes.
Right, the songs
Yeah.
from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they do that for most movies. Like, I don't know, any movie that has any kind of significant music in it, and of course, a lot of them.
I think they've sort of lost the ability to do that like they did before.
I don't
Maybe the
think-
songs cost too much. or something.
Even though we have the ability to have instant information on anything, in a way, I think things were a little easier to know when you didn't have all these different channels, when
think
you didn't
so.
have all the different
Yeah.
inputs, when you had, 3 channels on your TV, when you were listening to the radio, you knew what movies were out then. You knew what
You knew what
songs were
time-
coming out.
right.
You knew all the TV shows.
Yeah.
Now, there's TV shows on, 200 channels, whatever it is. There is no way you're going to
No
know
way.
what's coming out, what's on. It's hard to keep up with record releases. It's hard to know what's out there. It's very hard, back to the Beatles again, it will be very hard for anything to ever catch on like that because there's so much diversity out there. It's just not, there's so many choices, it just diffuses everything.
It dilutes it.
It does. And that's going to be,
The only thing that doesn't dilute is, well, now they'll have these snippets on there. It says, President Trump said so-and-so, and you push on it, and it didn't even say that. It's just a clickbait
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
there's a lot
It's
of
almost
that.
like we're getting jaded to that.
Yeah, well, I am. I mean, pretty
just-
much any video I see on Facebook, I
assume
don't
it's
even
not
look at
real.
it. Well,
Or
you're
not
right.
true.
So
or,
much of
or, or filtered or something.
So much of it is AI now.
So what's it go? Now, you were early on in the, and we haven't even gotten to the Kona Ice or the other stuff or Subway. But
That's
you
the stuff I know about.
well, you were so you're always sort of on the beginning of these things.
Well,
Like you had the movie guy,
right.
Then came what Subway,
Subway.
and that was early in Subway's era.
It was.
Which ones did you own?
We had everything that was here in Cleveland, and we had a few in Chattanooga. We had Dalton and Ringgold. We had a couple in Alabama. Not all at one time. Over the years, I think I had 22 different ones. Most we ever had at one time, I think, was 13, which sounds great, but
Was
it's not
that
as great as it sounds.
Was it more work than?
It was. Well,
Five?
I had partners with it, so I didn't have to do much, if any, of the day-to-day stuff. So I wasn't having to stock or staff, 13 stores. So that was good. Excuse me. Got a little something going on here. But when I got into that, I was in Atlanta. This was in '86, and I just stopped in a Subway. Let's see what this is. And at that time, when you go in a Subway and they make the sandwich there in front of you, that was very unusual then in '86. Nobody was doing that anywhere. And I just looked at that and I said, that's a home run right there. And so I had no idea that was I didn't know if that was a store on its own or a franchise or what. I just started looking at it and, doing some research. I didn't have the computer to just look right away then, but I think some magazines and things, and I figured out it was a franchise. And so I got into it then, and it was about a year later that we were able to open the first one. The first one's the one over here by Gondolier, over here by Gondolier.
Still there.
Wherever it is. And, we had the two in Cleveland. We had some in Chattanooga and just started growing from there. It's the restaurant business is tough.
The margins are like this.
The margins are low. I'm not gonna get much into the details of the inner workings of Subway, but there were some difficulties there. Again, I did well with Subway for most of the years that I was in it. Subway was also a blessing, and I couldn't have done what I've done without Subway. And I'm glad that I was able to bring that into Cleveland, although somebody else would have if it hadn't been me. But all the things that I've done, I think I've tried to have things that kind of bring joy. Make people a little happy, make them a little excited, a little bit, something a little different, a little bit of a curve to what they've seen before. And like I was saying, with the delivery of Subway, the way they made the sandwiches, the way you got the sandwiches, that was something that I think people were, for the most part, pretty happy with. And I'm proud of that part of it, and that we were able to do that. And of course, we did a lot of charity work with Subway. We were giving food away all the time with that. It was I was in that a long time. I was in Subway for 26 years.
That was your main thing you did during that time?
It was, I had the video store going then, and that's really where I was. The partners I had, or an operations manager, they were doing most of the stuff with Subway. The big things, like when we were picking locations, or heaven forbid, if we had a lawsuit or anything that we had to deal with, which, when you're in the restaurant business, you get some of those. Or if anybody thinks you have any money. They were sorely disappointed when they started looking into things. But going through that, I was involved in those sort of things. And I would go to stores, just kind of, I was sort of a secret shopper, because most of the workers didn't know me. I could go down to Ringgold. They had no idea who I was. And I could report back and say, well, here's what I saw. And things like that. But I had the video store going through that. I was in Dexter Thomas from 93. Well, Dexter was really 94. All the way up until when I did Kona. So that was 2010 is when I left Dexter. So I had all of that going on. I had a little bit of downtime there, in between. But I stayed busy. Stayed busy enough, that's for sure. But
what made you sell the Subways?
I was, boy. We may have to edit this. We'll see here. No, it was when Subway started really, really growing. I felt they were overgrowing, and they were putting one on every corner. And it just got, you'd mentioned a while ago something about, it probably was easier to run those when you had 5. Well, it was easier to make money when you had 5, because every time we would open one, it'd take some away from these others. And it was in Subway's interest to do that because they're getting a percentage royalty of every sale of every store. So the way it works is if you've got a store sitting right here, let's say Northway Plaza over here, let's say it's doing $10,000 a week. That's probably, I don't know, that might have been
Close.
an average back then, I don't know. And then you take another one and you put it right beside it, boom. What's gonna happen is this one's gonna drop to about 6,000. This one's gonna do about 6,000. So you've cut this one just about in half. This one's doing about half what the other one was. Your profit now is down to just about nothing. Subway, though, is getting their percentage off of $12,000 instead of $10,000. So
You're buying the lemon packs and everything else.
Yeah, right. So many other things you had to do through them.
Right.
But and I'm not just picking on Subway.
That's the way all the
franchises do that. Subway was very, very aggressive, though. Subway at one time was up to like 45,000 units.
like Starbucks.
or
There's
something
one.
like that.
There's one. There may be one in this office.
But the thing about Starbucks is Starbucks has their own stores. You can't go franchise a Starbucks. Those are all company.
Oh yeah, you just lease the
company-owned.
buildings
You know,
sometimes.
Subway had either one or two or no stores that they actually owned.
They could put one at any gas station.
There were no protections. I mean, they would they would shake your hand and wink at you,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't really get any kind of protection for that. So when they opened that up or just decided, they made up their mind, we're going to have more units than any other franchise in the country or the world for that matter. And they just started popping them everywhere. And right, you see them in gas stations. There's a lot of places where the actual store that's in a plaza might have a gas station sitting out in the parking lot that's got one in it. And that was just not a great situation there. And then on top of that, I know everybody loved that $5 sub. I had people thanking me for the $5 sub. Oh, this is such a wonderful thing. And of course, Subway loved it because the royalties went through the roof when we do that. But we were our biggest seller when we were doing that $5 sub. First of all, they did that. Every item on the menu was $5. And they kept that special going for over a year. And so it was a strain on the margins. And just that and other things that at one time they were wanting all stores to be mandated to be open 24 hours. Well, no.
People don't want sandwiches.
Well, franchises raised up at that and said,
Right.
no, we're not going to do that. And again, every franchise does this. I'm not picking on Subway.
Right.
That just happened to be the one I was in. They're all looking for other sources of revenue. And, but it just kind of got out of hand. And I just really couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel there. And so that's why I got out from there. Plus, I'd been in it long enough. Everything kind of runs its course.
Yeah.
And for me, with me, that had kind of run its course. And I was just ready to move on. On top of that, Kona came along.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story is about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
So tell me how it started with Kona. Did you have that same? Just saw it somewhere?
It was very similar. Well, I shouldn't say very similar, but I got in on the front end of Kona. We had been doing a job, Dexter Thomas. We did a benefit over at Cleveland State. It's when the Haiti earthquake hit. Gwen probably remembers that. And yeah, and we did it was an early job, right? We did it like 6 o'clock, something like that. So we were done early. I was back home early. I got home that night. I got on Facebook, and I'm looking through my Facebook feed. And back then, you didn't like a page. You became a fan of a page if it was something you were interested in. And one of my friends on there had become a fan of the Kona Ice in Cartersville. And I was, at this point with Subway, I was looking, let's see what else is out here, you know. I kind of always had my eyes open. But I clicked on it and I looked at it and I saw that you've seen the Kona trucks, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's seen the Kona trucks. I saw that it had that flavor wave on it, which is where you put your own flavor on. And I went, that's very interesting. Let's see if this is patented. And I looked and I saw that they had, at that time, a patent pending. And I went, well, that's more than a home run. That's a grand slam.
Yeah.
You know, kids are going to go insane over that. So I got on the phone with them. This was a Saturday night. Monday morning, I'm on the phone with Kona. Hey, I'm interested in this. And, of course, they were interested in me because I was a Subway franchisee, which was viewed as the biggest, best franchise in the world. And a lot of marketing value there if I come on board with Kona.
Yeah.
And so they sent me the list of the franchisees, and they said, we want you to call these three, which were, one of them was in Nashville, one of them was in Kansas City, I think. I can't remember where the other was, Alabama. And, you know, call these three because they're more similar to what your situation will be. And at that time, there were only about 30 franchisees for Kona. This was early on. And so I took their list of three and I put it over here. And I looked at their list of franchisees. I said, New Hampshire, let's see how they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I called New Hampshire first thing, talked to them, and they were over the moon about it, doing great with it. And they only have like a 5-month season up there because it's, you know, it stays cold.
Yeah.
A lot longer than it does here. And so I called every franchisee. I didn't get to talk to all of them, but I talked to about a dozen of them. All of them were like, this is great. You know, we're doing well with it. It's great business to be a part of. So I just couldn't find a speed bump. You know, I was looking for that speed bump and it was never out there. So I said, let's do it. So we brought in the first truck in April of 2010.
Not that long ago, has it?
15 years for us. And Kona itself's been around they started franchising in 2008. So my truck was truck 91, my first truck was. Now they've got like 2,600, 2,800, something like that. So brought that first truck in, and I didn't know what I was going to do. You know, is this going to be a living, or is this going to be a hobby, or what will this be? And so I was just out running neighborhoods and stuff, doing it myself, didn't have employees.
Just like the ice cream man.
Just like the ice cream man. Well, that was the whole original concept of Kona was...
the snowball truck.
Tony Lamb, the guy that invented it, he and his family, you know, one of those white vans came through, and he went out and he bought his, you know, freezer burnt ice cream, and, you know, for his family, and it was like $40.
Yeah.
And creepy guy driving the thing, you know, and so he says there's got to be a better way. So that's how he came up with Kona. And so I was just driving around, and I went by the Chamber of Commerce. I knew most of the ladies that were working over there at that time, and I just gave them free Konas. And one of them kind of hung back and said, you know, you ought to go up to Walker Valley tomorrow. They got this thing called Sports Fest. It's all the fifth graders in the county, and they're doing all these sports events all day. You'd probably do pretty well up there. I probably would. Yeah. And so I called Walker Valley, and I knew Danny Collins. Do you know Danny?
Yeah, I know Danny.
Danny had worked for me at the Movie Guy for a little while, but Danny was the assistant principal up there, and I talked to him, and he put me in touch with who was over the thing. And I called, and he said, yeah, we'd love to have you. Come on. So I said, okay. So the next day I'm up there at the stadium. I pull in that stadium, and there's like one whole side of that stadium at Walker Valley is just full of kids, all of it. And this is like 8 in the morning, and there's a lot of things that you learn over time. One of the things I learned with Kona is regardless of the situation, you're not selling a lot of Konas at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. You can get set up and get ready. But I'm sitting there, and the other thing I'm not thinking is, well, the teachers aren't going to let them just willy-nilly come rushing down to the truck and start buying stuff. But anyway, I'm sitting there, there's no kids coming to me. And I'm like, what have I done? You know, I've put this money in this stuff, and I can't even get a stadium full of kids to come buy any Konas.
Yeah.
It had gone okay before, you know, just going through the neighborhoods, but that's all I've been doing. And so eventually this one kid, they're free to go or whatever. One kid comes down, he gets his Kona, he goes back up in the stands. Boom! It was an avalanche after that. I had like 30 kids all day long just coming to me. I ran out of spoons, I ran out of ice, I ran out of flavors.
This first day you set up.
My first big day, you know, ran out of everything pretty much. And it was not that big a day. It seemed big, you know, to me at the time, but did pretty well. And from that, I met Paul Wyrick. Paul was the Parks and Rec guy for Bradley County at that time. And I met a couple of the principals here locally. And I booked, Paul wanted me to talk to Tommy Caldwell. Tommy was the other guy at Parks and Rec. And we ended up booking a tournament with them. And I got a couple of days in the schools with those principals. And we went, which is a lot of what we do now, is going to schools. And we went and did Kona days with them. Of course, when we do a Kona day, we set up and we sell to the kids. We give school back 25% of that. And so that's a win-win-win for everybody. Your kids all show up when Kona's coming. So it's a good incentive, really good incentive. And we have a lot of schools that use us every month that have done it for years and years and years. So anyway, it just snowballed from there. And so about 2 weeks later, I got a call from Ocoee Middle. And they were doing one of the classes. It was just a class, about 20 kids, 25 kids. They were going to do a picnic over at Lee at Schimmel Park. And can you come do our picnic? It was like a Tuesday afternoon or something. I said, yeah, I'll come do that. I knew it wouldn't be much, which is 20 kids, but trying to get, trying to get out there, trying to get known. So I go over there and I do their thing. I'm over there like 20 minutes or whatever it is, and I'm getting done and I'm cleaning up my flavor wave, getting ready to leave. This real official-looking woman starts coming over to me, and already in my head, I'm formulating the excuses and the apologies, and all of that. And she comes up to me, and it was Kim Brooks. Do you know Kim? Kevin's wife?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was Kim, and she says, hey, I'm Kim. I'm the events director here at Lee, and we have these summer camps that we bring in every year. It's 8 weeks. It's 10,000 kids spread out over the 8 weeks. Do you think you could help us with that?
Let me think.
And I said, well, when I regained consciousness, I said, yeah, we'll do that. So from that, I bought the second truck because I knew that one truck would be needed almost exclusively at Lee. So we did 2 there, and then, just kept adding trucks as it went on and gained territory. We've got Chattanooga, we've got Athens, of course, all of Cleveland, Dayton, Decatur, Polk County.
So how many trucks you have now?
We have 5 right now.
So you've got the franchise, you're the one that's allowed to drive around it?
Yeah, in Southeast Tennessee.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
It's a pretty good situation.
And you don't have to have real estate.
No.
Brick and mortar.
Right. Right. It's a good situation. 5 is a little hectic. You wouldn't believe how crazy Kona gets in May.
Logistically, right, I guess.
Right. Well, getting the right employees and getting the truck from here to here to here, because usually you have multiple events in a day that each truck is doing.
It'll surprise you how many employees will say, I can't do that thing I said I was going to do tomorrow, isn't it?
It wouldn't surprise me, but a normal person,
right.
I've heard it. I've heard it a few times. But my employees now, we've got a good crew right now. Hasn't always been that way, but right now we've got good
finally
people.
in businesses, finally you weed through the bad people and you end up with good ones. And then I find myself taking advantage of the good ones. Do you do that?
Well, unfortunately,
It's just you forget.
you kind of have to, unfortunately, because the good ones are always picking up the slack of the bad
Yeah.
ones. But the other part of that is you, as a business owner, as a boss, you're picking up slack too.
Yeah.
For all of them at certain times. You're handling various situations, so don't feel too guilty about that. I'm conscious of that.
Yeah.
But the trade-off of that is the ones I have that are really good. They're probably making more. They probably have more of a priority on the time that they want off. They're going to get a little better treatment than the one that's calling me an hour before they're supposed to come in. Hey, I can't come in. See, the thing with us is, if you let's say your Champies over here, you probably got a crew of 30, 40 people going any one time.
Yeah.
One of them calls in, you're not going to be happy. That's not going to kill you.
You got 13 other
You're going to
people.
get by with your other 39 or
Yeah.
whatever it is. With us, if you call in, that truck's not going out.
It's not like two's in the truck, right?
Usually not. Usually it's just
Yeah.
one. So it's a solo mission
Yeah.
that all of them are doing. So I had one call in one time. We were supposed to do a job down at the sculpture fields in Atlanta, or not Atlanta, in Chattanooga. And they do that sculpture burn thing every year, and we were doing that one year. We were supposed to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning. It was on a Saturday morning. And this is when I was running. And so I was out doing my run with Terra Running over there. They were doing weekly runs to work up to that half marathon. And I think we were running 6 miles that day or something like that. And so I'm out running. I get a phone call. This is like 8:40 in the morning. And it's my employee. And she says, she was supposed to be there at 8:30 at our facility. She says, hey, I'm not going to be able to come in. She had good reason, but I'm not going to be able to come in. I said, are you serious? Yeah, all right. So I had to run 2 miles back to my car, get back home, get my shower, go get my truck ready, and then get down there by 10 o'clock.
Oh, Lord.
And it was, I had 10 minutes to go. I made it.
Yeah. But the whole time you're in the shower, you say, okay, I'm going to get out.
The whole time I'm going, well, you get to where you don't even think about it. You're just get through it, and so that's what I was doing. But, those last minute call-ins, that's just, you don't like them, but they happen once in a while. We've been very fortunate. I'm thinking we've done 16 seasons now with Kona, and I think I've only had 3 jobs that I've had to call the people and say, hey, we're not going to be able to make it.
Boy, that'd be bad.
Because of, well, it is bad. Yeah. Those were all 3 of those were schools, but I was able to make it right, and we still work with those schools. And so, you treat your people right.
Things do happen.
Things do happen, right? And this was a situation that shouldn't have happened, but it did. And so I just called them, and I think we gave them like a free Kona day or something when we were back in the fall or whatever it was. But we got through that. But employees, with any business you're in, employees, that's the key.
It's just going to happen.
If you can get good people that are manageable, you're going to be successful. If you're struggling to do that, and part of that is just you've got to. It's the experience of hiring. You get to, and you've done it as long as I have, I'm sure. That gut gets smarter every year.
Yeah.
And when you're talking to them, you get a better idea about them all the time. Kids now, they are trained to interview, and how do you get around that?
I can see through that. Can't you?
Right,
quick?
right. Well, you talk about their personal life. You talk not personal, but talk about what
and
they
by
do.
By the time that they've worked and trained a little bit, if you can leave somebody with that truck,
right,
or that,
right, yeah,
or if they're going to clean it up before they leave, all that stuff.
Right. It's we get so busy sometimes. It gets so hectic, especially in May. I told you we do that give back. Schools in May go crazy over us. We'll most of the days we'll have all 5 trucks out doing a whole school, each at a different school, and that'll be for all of May, every weekday. So it gets, and then we'll have events at night. We'll have our regular baseball, softball, all of that going on.
Do you get too much in the menu? I notice a lot of these places will start doing good with this small menu, and then they get this large menu, and they just can't keep up.
It's what we've had with Kona. We have of course, our Flavor Wave flavors are what the kids want to get.
Yeah.
They want to put their own stuff on there. We've had that, and then our cup options. And the only things that we've added is we have smoothies now. Not on every truck.
You don't have French fries or nothing.
No,
right?
no. Nothing that you would cook.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different
Whole
ball
nother
game
thing,
when
yeah.
you're doing health department regulations
right.
and all of that. OSHA, all of
Yeah.
that. It's different when you get into that. But we've added the smoothies, and that's pretty much it. You know, we've got these little trinkets that kids can buy. They can buy wristbands and Lays and candy spoons and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't think with what we're doing, you're not going to see that. We found that if we add a bunch of flavors and you put that up there on your truck, it's going to slow you down.
Yeah.
Because people are just going to
You
be,
need 5 flavors or something.
well.
What's the
have-
one over there
we-
across from the village mall? Is that-
Pelicans?
yeah, that's different, right? That's
Well, it's
similar,
shaved
but
ice.
You in one place.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
I think they have a trailer, but I've never seen it out anywhere that we've been. You get, over the years, you establish where you're going, and we do add new places all the time, but, you know, it's a pretty steady schedule as far as what we do. These are the schools, you know, we're going to be doing. These are the festivals we're going to be doing. Here's our sports leagues.
Isn't it something how when we was growing up, there was the truck that would drive through the subdivisions?
Well, we do that. We still do that some.
I don't see that, but I remember the independent people
Right.
that would
Well,
just...
they were still around. They're where I live. I'm not going to say where I am because everybody be coming to see
Yeah.
me. But we had a guy this summer that was coming through there.
I hadn't seen one of those in years. I
He
guess.
was driving through. He was doing about 30 miles an hour. Like, what is a kid going to grab onto that thing?
right.
How are they going to get it from you?
Yeah.
But
And you wonder how clean those are. You know, with syrup and stuff and ants and...
do they even have permits? You
No,
know,
probably not.
I know there's
Probably,
been
yeah.
some that have not.
Yeah.
We had, when COVID was going on, of course, we lost all of our events. We didn't have, you know, everybody canceled everything. But we could still go do neighborhoods. So we were going and doing neighborhoods, and that was a very fulfilling time because we would go into some neighborhoods and parents would come out with tears in their eyes going, oh, we're so grateful to see you. You know, my kids haven't been able to do anything. They haven't been able to see anything. And so we had neighborhoods that we were running for, you know, 6-8 weeks there that we were going and hitting. But we went into one neighborhood, not here, it was down in Appison. And that little white van come in behind us. You know, we went up, we were probably 2/3 of the way through the neighborhood. And it's a neighborhood that's shaped like, you know, the road just goes straight down the middle and it's got crossroads all the way through it. We were almost to the back. And we see him coming in and darting back and forth up those streets. And this is COVID, you know, we've got our masks, we've got our gloves, we got all of that. He comes up there to us, he gets up to the road we're on, he comes in, he passes us, and I look over there, he doesn't have any gloves, he doesn't have a mask, he doesn't have a shirt.
Oh,
He's not wearing a shirt. And so I was like, well, I don't think we have to worry about this guy. But, you know, we get that, and
prior to that, you kind of wonder maybe who's competition.
well, I'm not trying to brag or anything here, but Kona is a different operation than what one of those independents is. I mean, we got a lot of money in that and a lot of systems that have been worked through.
And somebody that's sort of overseeing you a little bit, right? I mean, the franchisor just not out here willy-nilly.
Right. Oh, right. We have to send in audits and all of that. They're not as. When I had Subway, they were here every month, you know, in every store, and that's a whole nother issue. You need another hour and a half for that. But yeah, we are accountable to Kona. But you know, that's not really going through the neighborhoods is not really what our model primarily is. Although initially it was intended to be. Now
Was it as good? Could you go around the neighborhoods in a 8-hour period and make as much as you could do an event?
depends on the event.
So it's,
Usually not.
but not. Well, if you averaged,
If you're going in a neighborhood, you're fishing. You're going through. You're casting that
Yeah.
line. Is what you're doing, and sometimes you hit great, sometimes you don't. And there's no real consistency to that. You know, a neighborhood that you go in today and do great with, you might not next.
and you're just talking $200 anyway, right?
It depends on the neighborhood. You look at some of them, like a Meadow Stream is one down in Ooltewah that has like 600 homes. You know, you should do better than that. We don't always. But the problem is you go in a neighborhood like that, it's going to take you 4 hours to drive through it. That's if nobody's stopping you. And
Plus, people aren't really, they don't have the change with them. You know, they're running in and out. It's not like, it's not like they knew you were coming.
It's a lot of it is cards now. We do a ton of credit cards, which we didn't do before. It's really funny. This is a little bit of a sidetrack. One of the things that we do is Baylor School. They do a tailgate before all their home games. And I don't know if you've ever been to Baylor. Have you been to Baylor? You know that big infield that they have right there, that courtyard? That's where they have vendors set up. And we go and we do that. And these kids are running around with credit cards, like, 6, 7, 8 years old, and come and do their credit card. And it's funny. It's funny to see them do that. Either mom and daddy have give them those, or they're at Baylor. That might be theirs. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, well, you've got to drive slow enough to where they have time
to get
in
and hear over the TV.
Well, and see, that's an issue that you have, especially when you get into the dead of summer and it's 98 degrees. Everybody has their air conditioner up.
Yeah.
And everybody's playing their video games, and it's hard to get them out of that house when it gets real hot like that. A lot of people think, when you're in the 90s, you're killing it. Well, we're not, because once you get over 90, people quit moving. 85, I wish it was 85 every day.
That's the best.
That would be our sweet spot right there. But and that's a secret. Don't put that in either. But anyway, events we've done. The business model now is more of a give back fundraising kind of thing than it was to begin with. We've given back over $1 million since we've been operating, which makes me happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah, right.
$1 million, it's not mine. Wow. But again, I'm blessed to be able to be a part of a business like that. That, as I said earlier, there's nothing I've done that brings joy like Kona does. People that come to us are just, you just get on that truck and it's like sunshine. You're taking sunshine all over the place.
You've been handing people packages, whether it's a movie, a Subway sandwich, a Kona ice cream. You're handing them a little bit of joy, a little break.
That's the way I've looked at it. I mean, of course, we want our product to be as good as it can be, but Kona, the experience is as important as what you're getting in that cup. And same thing back to music. We were talking about the memories of the music. Right. It's the same thing
That's
with
why
Kona.
You like the vinyl. It comes in a package.
I get people that come up to me now that were kids when I started, that they have kids now, and they're bringing their kids to Kona. And they'll say, I remember when you used to come through our neighborhood on Sunday afternoons. I would look forward to that all year or all week. And y'all would come through, and that was our favorite part of the week. And that's,
How much is your standard order?
The average cup?
Yeah.
$4. We have a kitty that's $3. We don't always use that. You see us at festivals, you're not going to get that $3 kitty. But 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have 5 sizes.
So if you're driving through a subdivision, you might sell some of those $3 cups for the.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We do it in neighborhoods. We do it when we're doing the nightly stuff up here by the Y.
Yeah.
We'll let them do the $3.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing us real frequently like that, then it's the $4.
Yeah.
We didn't go up at all for like 12 years. We were 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And, when the inflation hit and everything went up.
Gas,
gas
especially.
with trucks. The trucks now are about.
I bet you get, 10 miles a gallon or something?
About, yeah. And trucks are about double what they were,
I guess they're a couple 100,000 or something?
Getting close. They're getting close. You're the first one that's ever come close on that number.
I'm familiar with Bobcats and
I'll get
stuff
people
like that.
We'll get people that'll see us out somewhere and they'll go, golly, you probably got $10,000 in this truck.
Lord, no.
I wish. Actually, I don't, because if I did, everybody'd have one of those.
There's a lot of ways to make a living besides, killing yourself and not enjoying life, isn't it?
Well,
Have you ever driven down to Dalton and worked at the carpet mill third shift?
I have not, and I won't.
So, but that's what some people, all because they didn't think about something that might have, or maybe not been the financial position to do it at the time. What's the next thing? If you were to, because what's the next thing? You're seeing stuff as coming about.
I'm getting a little older. I'm not really as aggressive in looking for new things. I'm very happy with Kona as a company. Kona has other concepts that they're doing. One that I can talk about, which I'm probably not going to do myself, but if anybody's watching this that wants to do it, they probably can. They have a coffee truck. And it's doing gangbusters.
I bet.
All over the place.
If they can get a good coffee, most of these coffees anymore, I just can't hardly drink any coffee now except Starbucks.
I'm not a coffee drinker, so it's hard for me to tell. But people that I know that have had the Kona coffee all like it. For whatever that's worth, I don't know.
If Starbucks ever starts having a travel trailer, we can just all hang it up.
You think
Because they've got something in it that's addictive.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's called caffeine.
But they're getting to where they get some bad employees. Not this one up here at Paul Huff. They're all great over there.
Well,
but I went to Knoxville here. I was in Knoxville last month, and I stopped by to get, I was at, what was the name of that? Montview and Kingston Pike. I went and got one of those carry cases for, it was like, for all the workers. And I walked, and my buzzer went off, said, your coffee's ready. So it was sitting there on a box, so I walked up, and I said, I guess this is mine, because, the app said it's ready.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I thought I would give you some cream and sugar, but if you don't want any, I won't bother. And I said, no, I just thought it was ready because the app said it's ready. Well, it's not ready. And I said, okay. And so I go to sit down, and before I sit down, she says, it's ready. As soon as I turned around. And then when I went to pick it up, and I left, and everybody said, and I'm familiar with how they say, have a good day. I know that. But this wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was like, it was real sarcastic. And I thought, they've got me confused with somebody else. Because it must have been somebody from, it was surreal. It was really weird. But anyway, what I was saying is, they have to have good coffee or they couldn't make it. Kona must be really good, tasty.
Well, Kona is the only company that actually produces their own flavors.
Oh.
They have a lab, and people that's all they do is they work on developing flavors and making sure that it's nutritionally sound. See, we have different mixes that we can do. The one we use is 40% reduced sugar, and all the flavors contain vitamin C and vitamin D.
Which is unusual, isn't it?
Right,
It's
right.
not just
Well, it's not a stick of broccoli,
Right,
but
right.
it's healthier than probably any snack you're going to get for your kids, as long as they don't run it over, which
better than
a lot of them
Kool-Aid
do.
with the
Right,
five
right.
cups of sugar.
Right. So, and a lot of the independents, like you were talking earlier, a lot of those are Kool-Aid. That's
But let's
what they
think
do.
broader. Think further out.
What-
Besides food and that, what's the next thing?
Well,
we didn't see when you were at the movie guy,
Right.
Or when you was at Tokens,
Right.
you didn't foresee having a storefront that rented movies.
Well, at the
like
time I was
books.
at Tokens, there might have been one in town, maybe.
But when you were at Tokens, HBO was the new. I didn't even have
Right.
HBO.
Yeah, well-
I just heard about that from people.
Right. And
were
it
rich.
was like that summer is when cable
Yeah,
really
right.
hit a lot of places, was in 82
MP,
right
yeah.
there.
So, and then the Red Box did away with that, and then streaming
Well-
did away with that.
Right.
So, what's next? Do you think it will be in the? We think about going to Mars and
Right.
all this technical stuff, but you seem to stay in the lower end entertainment fun things. What would it be? What's it going to be?
What's going to be the next fun thing? Is that what you're
What's going
you're
to be the
asking?
next fun thing that's going to take over?
My guess is, and it's just a guess, and this is, way beyond my pay grade. I'm just kind of dumb and hop on bandwagons is what I do. So I'm not really sure what that next bandwagon is. But I would guess that there's probably some things coming up with AI that are going to be interactive in terms of course, there's already some of it in games, in applications that are helping with businesses, with all
But that's
kinds
not the entertain. That's not
games
too
are
simple.
well
Maybe virtual reality, like go into maybe rent headsets or something.
You're
Virtual
talking
reality
from a
heads-
business, how to take advantage of that is what
Yeah,
you're asking
yeah.
me? Gosh, I don't know.
Of course, snow cones are not. That's almost reversing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a new concept. It's a
Right.
new, more, but
Right.
but it's not a new concept. Neither
Well-
is watching movies or
Right.
listen to
right.
music.
Well, it's what you look at Kona and Subway. Those were both not necessarily, well, they were old concepts. Both
People
of
have
them
been making
were-
sandwiches
the
for
product,
years.
The products were old.
The system was
But
new.
the delivery system
delivery
was
system.
new. So what you're asking me is, do I see a delivery system?
Maybe so.
I
In
don't
what?
know.
I don't know.
When you get into streaming like we're into now, with all music, all video now is pretty much streaming. I mean,
Maybe
you
it's-
can still buy some albums.
Maybe it's going to a theater setting and seeing a hologram of Keith Whitley in concert, seeing him.
Well, they do that. There's been there was an Elvis hologram that went on tour, and they had shows, and it was Elvis.
Well, maybe there's just more of that.
And they did.
Maybe tonight we're showing Keith Whitley.
Yeah, they had Roy Orbison. This was a big production. They
Yeah.
took an orchestra, but here was the weird thing about the Roy Orbison. They had a hologram of him, and this was all his family put this together, his sons, and like a 50-piece orchestra, and it toured all over the country. The hologram was not of Roy Orbison. It was of a Roy Orbison impersonator.
No, see, that was
So,
yeah.
I mean, the
Might as well
vocals,
have Eddie Dyer play
yeah,
Elvis.
exactly. They used Roy's vocals. They used the recordings that were Roy, but they used an impersonator as the hologram.
We
So-
want the real person. Maybe
but,
that's it.
But there are people. Are you familiar with Dio? Ronnie James Dio?
No.
He was a heavy metal singer. He was
No.
he was with Black Sabbath and some other bands. They did a hologram tour with him. And I've just seen clips of any of this, so I don't really know.
Maybe it's small.
Well, I think
But
everything.
that would just be a movie. That'd just be another movie theater. So that doesn't work.
But I think more and more things are going into your home. More and more.
But I don't do it, but I enjoy going to the movies and getting the popcorn and the chocolate covered raisins.
But when's the last time you went?
Oh, last time I went, I saw the Elton John documentary. That's how long
That
it's
was
been.
at the movies? Oh, yeah, the
yeah.
Rocket Man.
The Rocket Man, yeah, I saw
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Or it might have been Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
I saw that documentary. That was a good documentary.
Yep.
I like that. You know, maybe Mark Cuban, he's big into these AMC theaters. I could see where he would think that's still relevant. Can't you?
Well, you still have big titles that do well in movies, and look at what they make now.
It's the experience. That's another thing.
You're back to the experience
Back
again.
to the experience.
Yeah,
because you can't get that at home. Your
No.
dog's jumping on you. Your cat's over
Well,
your
even if nobody's bothering you, it's still it's not the same.
It's not as it's going to the movies is a little more tangible. I know it's not tangible. Could we say it's?
There's a social element to it too, which.
But could we say it's tangible, even though it's? What's another word for not It's not tangible, but it's.
It's a more visceral experience. How's that?
Visceral. What's that?
Well, it reaches you inside. It's more of a encompassing. How's that? No. All encompassing. Help me out here. You got the thesaurus over there?
Not determined, but a more of a determined thing.
Well, one of the things I think about movies is there's a scarcity to it as far as they can only sell so many seats, and it's only on for so long.
Right.
So you've got a little bit of an urgency there.
And your timeline's got immediate, and I can go Thursday. Thursday, we're going to the movie.
You've got to set that. You've got to plan for that.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to do that. Others do. And so I think that model is always going to be around. I don't know if it's going to be around to the extent that it is now, but movie theaters, I think, as long as there's humans around, I don't think that's ever going to go away. It's just, everybody wants to see movies, but movies have been around for what, 100,
I think this is one reason
years?
there's so many people at McKay's. They can still go and buy that magazine
And look at it.
and take it out with them.
Right. You can go on Amazon and get anything there is. You can find anything that you want on Amazon.
It'll be here before you leave.
It's on right there. And but for all the descriptions they have, for all the pictures they show, for anything they have up there, it's not the same as this. In your hands.
It's yours.
There's a sensory experience.
A sense of possession.
A sensory experience
Yeah.
to holding it.
Yeah.
The touch comes into play. Touch doesn't come into play on, any streaming or anything like that. So
Yeah, like with the movies, you got to get there. They're showing the things. You got to pull your seat down. You find a good seat. The lights are going dim.
You have to pick your seat before you go in there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. You got to go, when you buy your ticket, or usually it's at the concession stand. You go up there, you have to choose. They put up a little screen.
Why would you do that?
The first time I ever did that, I picked it, and I thought I was sitting it was one of the smaller theaters over at UEC, I think. Or it might have been over here, I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd picked the back row.
Yeah.
And it was
You picked the front row?
It was pitch dark when I went in there. And I went in, pitch dark, and I was by myself. And I go in there, and I head to that back row, and I go over to A3 or whatever it was I had, start sit down. There's somebody sitting in the seat.
Oh, Lord. You thought you were funny. Oh, God.
And I looked, and I went,
A matinee during the middle of the day.
You're right. I had the front row, so I had to go down to. Actually, the thing wasn't full, so I didn't have to go all the way to the front row. But That was a problem for me when they first
So that
started
guy
doing
thought
that.
you was there. You
It
got
was
him
crazy.
on the wrong guy.
It was actually a woman, so. But we barely touched, so it was not,
You know,
not a big deal. I apologized profusely. Now this is out for all the world to see.
You know, going and getting a haircut is an event. You know, I went and got my haircut Friday. You know, that's sort of tangible, isn't it? You get a haircut.
For me, it's similar to like a massage. For me, there's a lot of times where I almost drift off getting a haircut.
Yeah.
I've never been. You can't tell it from this, but I don't like to talk a whole lot, and you know, usually your people that cut hair are that's their profession.
Yeah, their profession.
Their profession is to talk. Is what they do. But with all the clippers and stuff going, hair dryers and whatnot, it's I like to just kind of chill out. But yeah, I mean that is an experience, even like that. But that's, you know, you're always going to have to go get a haircut. They're not going to be able to stream that in.
No.
Streamed haircuts.
There will be somebody comes up with something that's in the form of simple, cheap entertainment or experience that will just explode. I don't know what it is.
There's always something
I mean,
coming.
Kona Ice was it. Maybe Kona Coffee's it.
And there's other
Well,
stuff.
you ought to get that for somebody else.
There's other stuff
because
coming, I
that will
can't talk.
take off.
Well, you know.
But I don't know. It's got to be good coffee, or you. I mean, a Kona Ice. You know, you can't really make that in your house. I guess you could get the shaved ice, but
It's not the same.
the coffee you can just go to the
same.
microwave.
Yeah. Well, you know, they have all the different stuff. They've got the lattes and the frappes and all that sort of cappuccinos. And they also have hot chocolate and other things that they're experimenting with. And
one thing about Starbucks is the way they give that to you. It's a cup, and it's seasonal. Like now they've come out with their Christmas cups. It's got the sleeve on it. It's got the white lid. It's got the sword in it. And when they hand it to you, it's as if you're getting a gift.
yeah.
And that's a big deal.
Well-
It's what do they call the intrinsic value?
Right.
Something like
Well,
that.
you're back to, it's a sensory thing. You know?
Sensory thing. Which
it's-
is, you know, everything we've talked about is sensory.
Right.
That's what the word
Well,
I was trying to
No,
think
I mean,
about.
isn't that what existence is, though? I mean, engaging your senses.
Well, when you talk to this new age people, they say nothing's real until you touch it, you know, simulation theory and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about that. But
There'll always be something new coming down. People are always going to want to experience sensory
wonder-
experiences. They're always going to want to interact
I
with other
wonder
people.
if you could. I wonder if you could, you know, send in $12, and they would send you a wrapped gift. You don't know what it is. Remember those grab bags they used to
Yeah.
have years
Oh, yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a $9 gift or an $8 gift. It's going to come in a wrapper. You're going to get it, and you're going to have to unwrap it. I knew this one company that had a. You remember watching the Pawn Stars?
Yeah, I've seen it. So
Well, I remember
watch it
that
a lot.
the older guy there. They were laughing at him because he was in the pie club where they send him a pie every month, a different pie. And I remember that episode. He was getting a rhubarb pie, and that's sensory, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, you don't know what pie it's going to be,
What
so there's a little bit of a surprise, element
and a mystery to it.
and a mystery to it.
And
yeah.
that's one thing that we're seeing now with the internet just prevalent everywhere. There's no mystery. You know, you can look, if you wanted to see what's going on with a new TV show before it's even on, you can go on there and it'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
And then
All the surprises are ruined. All the mystery is ruined. And then you have people that sort of gets absorbed into the whole atmosphere, and if you have no interest in knowing what's going to happen there, or you actively don't want to know, it gets to you anyway. So that's right. I mean, I always like a surprise. Now, my wife, she doesn't like any surprise, but I think most people would, you would have to have, if you were doing the gift thing, it would have to be something quality.
It would have to be something quality and useful,
right?
Like a new razor.
Well, something they're going to be pleased with. You know, if they think you've sent them a box of junk, then that's not going to be much of anything. But
remember when we was at school, we'd throw that fishing rod over the wall at the school fairs, and they'd put something on the hook, and you'd pull it back, and you got this gift. Remember that?
Yep. And also balloons. You'd throw the dart at the balloon. The
That's
balloon
right.
Would have something on there. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
But you'd have to, I don't know, but I think that if a person had 6 or 8 hours to just think on this subject, they could come up with answers.
Are you giving me an assignment here? That's what it sounds like.
Well, neither one of us, you'd have to have 6 or 8 hours dedicated to thinking about it. See, in a little while, I'll be home and you'll be home and we won't be thinking of it.
I'll be over at Aubrey's eating.
You have to think of I get over there sometimes. It hurts my stomach. Does it hurt your stomach?
Aubrey's?
Sometimes.
I love Aubrey's.
Sometimes it just seems like it hurts my stomach.
I love Aubrey's. I'm guessing you're not a sushi man, are you?
No.
No, you're not. At Rico's is unbelievable.
Where's that at?
It's over there behind the Walgreens over there on Paul Huff in Georgetown on the corner there. That little plaza that sits behind there. It's where, what was that, Seasons Harvest that used to be back there?
Yeah.
Beef O'Brady's used to be back there years and years ago.
Yeah.
It's in that little plaza right there.
I eat at the Thai restaurant next to Shoney's sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
the
pretty good.
Teriyaki Express.
And the rice and go is pretty good.
See, that's where my stomach hurts. Can I say that?
Yeah.
You said it about Aubrey, so I guess I could say
I believe,
that.
yeah. Sometimes, and sometimes at that Thai restaurant, it don't sit well with me either. It's hard to beat just a good hamburger steak and baked potato.
Where are you getting that?
You can get that at the Old Fort.
Yeah.
Or you can get it at, what do you call that?
Well, where's your favorite? Where's your favorite to get the hamburger steak?
Oh, well, my favorite would probably be the Old Fort.
Old Fort?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's standard. It's consistent.
What about burgers? Where do you get your burgers?
I'm not much of a burger guy. I don't much eat bread, really, for some reason.
Really?
A lot of these breads, now they have that folic acid in them. It's not good for you. You don't get bread like you used to. Like the old colonial bread. It's not like that no more. It's different. It's different. I don't know what it is.
Where do you get burgers, Glenn?
That Wonder Bread tastes sweet.
You get burgers at Aubrey's? You been to Spoonies? Been to Spoonies?
Oh, if you want
Spoonies is unbelievable. Their burgers are awesome. Also Catfish. It's great
I've been
over
to
there.
Spoonies, yeah, but boy, they takes a long time.
It does.
You got to dedicate 2 hours to get there. But probably the best place that has hamburgers is probably no other than, and nobody will disagree with me that's eat there, is the Quick Burger on South Lee Highway.
Oh, I like Quick Burger.
You can't beat it.
It's quick.
It's quick, and their fries are good.
Yeah.
I went in there one day and I said, what did I have last time? I thought, shit, that guy's serving 200 people a day, and I thought like he's going to remember what I had last time.
They never remember
I like
me.
pizza.
Okay, where do you get your pizza?
Pizza Hut's the best pizza.
Is this okay? Is everybody turned off by now?
They'll probably quit watching
Pizza
anyway.
Hut. That's what my wife says.
Either.
My wife, every time she wants pizza, we go to Pizza Hut.
You can't beat the Pizza
Get the
Hut.
pan pizza.
The pan pizza. And I tell you where I ate in Knoxville. When I was up there, I ate at this place called Blaze Pizza. Oh, man. You walk through, it's like a Subway pizza. You just tell them what you want. By the time you sit down, get your drink, and check your emails, they're handing you a pizza.
Oh, that's like 1,000 degrees. Have you been over there?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, it is
That's
about
the same concept
about the
there.
same concept, but it seems like Blaze has a little different atmosphere. It's just a little bigger or something, and they just have one size, and if you don't want that, you can get half the one size.
Yeah.
They keep it simple. Remember Beefy Burgers? Used to be Beefy Burgers. They're similar to Central Park.
Beefy burgers.
Beefy Burgers. They were
Beefy
mostly
burgers.
in Nashville.
I don't
But they were
know.
like
Did we have
Central,
one here?
They were like Central Park hamburger. You know, very, very simple.
I don't remember that.
You remember Central Park?
Yeah, I remember
They're on
Central
there.
Park.
Well,
They still have that one, don't
Beefy
they, on
Burgers was before Central Burger. Who owns
Was
Central?
it here? Beefy?
No, they had them mostly in Nashville. But
Okay.
that's where everybody got the concept.
Okay.
That they would sell a little better product. About like the Quick Burger. You just can't scale that kind of a Quick Burger business. You can't.
Well, they had a few more back in the day here, local.
Yeah, they had one on 58.
Well, there was one out there by Hopewell, where the vet is now.
I thought it was further out, 58.
It was. Well, there was
58.
one. There might have been one out there.
There's
but
one out there. Yeah.
There was one right there on the corner, right
and there
by
one
Hopewell.
on Durkee and Spring Place, right?
There was one. That
We always
was that
called
Quick
them-
Burger. That was.
It was a Quick Burger, I
was
believe.
it?
Yeah.
And then they had one.
You know, I think.
they had one over in Wildwood.
Yep. I think the one on Spring Place. I think it's run by Tony Patterson now.
I
In
know
fact, I've been needing to go by. I'm
changed hands.
gonna go by there tomorrow.
Not
Don't
terribly
forget.
long ago, it changed hands, but I don't think I know Tony.
But there's going to be something else come about. I don't know what it is.
Well,
And I don't know. Do we even care? Are we too old to care?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, I don't know that I want to start up anything else at this point, unless the next big thing is medical technology that keeps us alive till we're 150. Then maybe. But that was the thing for me with the coffee truck. I just didn't want to learn all of that. You know, it's a much more difficult operation than Kona is. There's
and
a
you
whole
don't
lot
want to go
more.
through that learning curve period.
I don't want to go through that. I don't want to have to train people on that. I don't want to have to deal with the mechanics of that because there are so many more moving parts on that thing than what there is on Kona. Kona is a very simple operation. You got your shaver,
Yeah.
and you got your smoothie machine if you've got smoothies.
And you're a little bit seasonal.
That's about it.
Which is good.
Well, it is good because what's happening, I mean, we're still going. We go till Christmas break. When the kids get out for Christmas break, we close. And then we close till about the middle of February.
I bet you go on a big cruise.
Well,
right?
you would think so, but actually January, first part of January is pretty busy for me because that's when a lot of people are booking for the year.
Oh,
so
don't end, does it?
I'll get a lot of that then. Then it kind of slacks off till about, the end of February or so. And
where you gonna go?
then it
Where you gonna go
explodes.
in February is when you got to do your 1099s, workman's comp,
Right,
general liability, your income tax,
And all that stuff
all
goes
that
through there.
stuff.
And we have a Kona convention that we go to. That's all the franchisees. That's up in it's in Covington, Kentucky.
I bet it's
which is
in January or February.
it's
right?
at the end of January, 1st of
Perfect timing,
February, right there.
You got to
across.
go to it.
It's amazing. You wouldn't think that you could learn a bunch of stuff in 4 days. I mean, how can they talk about shaved ice for 4 days? But
Well,
it just scratches the
trade
surface when you
secrets
go.
and
But we also
everything.
they bring entertainment in, which, do you know who Nate Bargatze is? You don't know Nate? Do you know Nate? You don't know Nate Bargatze? He's only the highest grossing comedian in America right now.
What's he?
He's selling out 2 nights at State Farm this week.
If he's a comedian, he hadn't been on Joe Rogan. I hadn't seen him.
He probably hasn't. He's very clean. He's not political. He's awesome. Tell them both of you. Nate Bargatze. He's
Nate
on
Bargatze.
He's on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
Do you have Netflix? Do you have Netflix, Steve?
I don't have Netflix.
Do you have Prime?
I have Prime.
He's on Prime. He's got a special on Prime.
I'm just not much into comedy.
Oh, he's
Except
so,
Chris Rock. I
he
like
is
him,
so
Chris
funny.
Rock.
He's so funny. But anyway, we had him at convention when he was nobody. Nobody knew who he was. And first night of convention, they always bring in a comedian for us. They brought in Taylor Tomlinson. Do you know who she is? Taylor Tomlinson? She has one of the late shows on CBS. I think the one that comes on like at 12:30 or 1 o'clock or whatever it is, or did.
like Theo
I don't know if
Vaughn.
she's still. Yeah, well, this is This is they have to keep this a little, non-controversial.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's always a great time going up to convention, and we always learn a new thing. They roll out a lot of new things, new products that are coming for the year. And
I wonder, talking about tangible, the things like that, sensory or whatever. Have you ever been to the Bigfoot museum up in Blue Ridge?
I have not. I've got a friend that he insists that Bigfoot is a real thing.
Well, it's a good 2.5 hour walking through.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really neat.
Is it all inside?
Yeah, and you
Okay.
just walk through at your own pace, and they give you coffee, and it's not any big frill things, but it's they got a little movie you can watch about like the size of the red clay. I think that's what people are interested in too now. These shorter trips that have a little bit of a meaning behind them. A museum of some sort.
Well, we have so many things around here. Like Blue Ridge, has a ton of stuff. Over there, Chattanooga, even here in Cleveland. There's you mentioned red clay.
Yeah.
We have red clay. We got the
we
museum.
take it for granted.
Yeah, everybody does. Wherever they are, they take for granted where they are.
Yeah, we live we live next to Smoky Mountains, and people save up money for a year to go to the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
And we don't even look at them.
Yeah, I know. But, I think the common element to everything I've done is the experience. Even going to the band, even being part of Dexter Thomas, it's all been experience, not just for who I'm presenting to, but for me. It's been an experience.
Right, yeah.
And if you embrace that, you're always going to be happy with what you're doing.
You've had a great life, hadn't you?
I have been beyond blessed. I wouldn't trade with anybody in the world.
Were you related to any of the Elrods, Doug Elrod, or
Doug was my dad's third cousin, so I don't know what that would make me. Fourth cousin?
Doug was your dad's third cousin. That almost make you not related.
I know. I'm out of the bloodstream.
Yeah. Which was your dad's name?
Bill.
Bill Elrod. What'd he do?
He was a postman. He ran a rural route. He had Route 2, which was the route that goes down Dalton Pike all the way to the Georgia line.
I bet that was nerve-wracking. People flying.
Well, he got to pick it. So he passed away.
He'd go all the way to Flint Springs?
He just went to Georgia.
Oh.
It's Flint Springs.
Yeah.
I don't. His route was like 70 miles or something like that. I don't know. I used to do the phone books. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't mail the phone books. They would get independent people to deliver them, but they would get the postal people to do it. And I used to go do that in the summer, make my $50. Do
you find that staying less debt has helped you to navigate this stuff? I'd always had so much debt I couldn't change what I was doing.
What is this less debt you're talking about?
You know what I'm saying? I've always had so much debt, I couldn't stop what I was doing.
Right.
To say, hey, I'll try that.
Well, that's kind of my situation now. If I was wanting to retire, I still have, some Kona debt and I still have my mortgage with my house. Are you counting mortgage as debt?
Yeah, everything that you can't quit.
Right.
Of course, my era was, we were taught to get debt, take leverage. That was what we were supposed to do, was taught that.
Right.
Now they've turned around and said, you can have debt?
Well, it depends on the situation. There are advantages at times to do that. If you can take advantage of like we're going to do. Boy, we're getting in the weeds right now. We're going to bring in a new truck, replace a truck. We're not really adding a truck, but we're replacing a truck. And with what they've done with the big beautiful bill, there are some depreciation advantages to that.
Yeah, you got to do it.
That we're going to use, and I'm, there's a line there. And you just got to kind of straddle that line.
Well, our era was taught to get on that line and to have the deductions and to work. That's what I
Right.
Always done.
Right. It's debt is pretty much inevitable. You know, usually when you're starting a business, you're usually not going to be able to have whatever that level of investment is, whether it be, you know, can you get into anything for less than a couple $100,000 now? Not that's going to be
Oh, you
anything
can get in for
substantial.
that is trouble.
Yeah, right. I mean, if you had a great idea or something that you could do on the internet or something, you could probably get by on a shoestring.
Remember when they came out with the rock, that rock that everybody bought? The
Pet rocks?
pet rocks. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. That would be...
that was a...
That's what you need to come up with. Something that's just totally stupid, that you have no
Well,
product cost, that I don't know what those went for.
I don't even remember that. Well, here lately they had those things that you'd spin, fidgets.
Fidget spinners?
Yeah,
Those
that was
came
a
and
big-
went so quick,
They-
though.
yeah.
We did, when I was doing the summer camps over at Lee one summer, they had just hit.
Yeah.
And when I was over there, they would always have, they had a Coca-Cola trailer that was there that we parked beside, and the Coca-Cola trailer had fidget spinners. And I think they were hot like in April, and this was like June.
First part of April.
Kona,
Yeah.
Kona went crazy
Yeah.
trying to produce
Yeah.
some Kona fidget spinners. We got them in. By the time we got them, I couldn't give them away.
couldn't give
and
'em
I
away.
mean, it wasn't 3 months, you know, hardly any time. So you got to be
I
careful.
don't think the pet rock would work nowadays, or that doll people had, the Cabbage Patch dolls. That probably wouldn't go.
Well, those kind of crashed. I don't think
Right
they're
now
even,
they got the Starbucks Bear Cup. They don't even. They may come up with some kind of a cup that's got a.
Was it got a bear on it?
It's like a bear, and it's got a toboggan-like thing and a straw, and they just.
Is it shaped like a bear?
Yeah, and they just
Oh,
they
okay.
sold out, and they've.
Is it
even-
plastic
Yeah,
cup?
they've even apologized for not making enough.
Well, sometimes that's the marketing angle that
Sure,
they'll do.
sure.
If you remember, this is before we had Popeyes around here, which we've only had for, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But they remember the shortage of the chicken sandwich?
Oh yeah, had a shortage of
Spicy chicken
Yeah.
or something like that. People were going crazy. They were getting in fights over it because you'd have to go get a ticket to get your Popeyes chicken, and it was insane. And it was all over the news, and they created that whole thing.
I know a guy that has a construction business. He puts on his phones, "We're not taking any new jobs."
I seem to have heard that. This is a funny story here. When I was talking to you, we played phone tag that
Yeah.
day that we were trying to set this
Yeah.
up. And you called. I was walking my dog over at Fletcher Park, and you called, and I pulled my phone out, and I couldn't answer the phone. It didn't have an icon to answer. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
So I actually went into my phone icon. I couldn't answer it from there. There was nothing. So I called you back right after that. At some point, I don't know if it was probably before that call, you had texted me
Yeah.
and said, "Can you come at 4 o'clock
Yeah.
on Sunday?" And so we're talking about bad phones.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you how mine, sometimes it might be a couple weeks before I get a text that someone sent.
Yeah.
Well, I get a text. Was it Friday? I think it was
Friday.
Friday. I get a text on my personal phone, and I didn't have you in there as a contact.
Right,
I
yeah.
did not put, you're in there now.
Yeah, good,
So you can
good,
call me
good.
anytime now. But so the number comes up, and I look, and I didn't really recognize the number, and it said, "Can you be here Sunday at 4 o'clock?" So I thought it was somebody asking about Kona. You know, usually they call my Kona phone. I've got 2 phones. And so I said, or you said, "Could you be here?" Oh, I said, "How long will it go?"
Yeah, right.
And where is it?
Yeah.
Which I already knew.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah.
already set all this up. And he
I
said,
thought I've got dementia.
he says
patient.
4 o'clock at 4060
Yeah.
North Ocoee. And I'm like, "Oh, Dee, hey." I said, "I told you my phone was bad." It sent me that Friday afternoon. That was probably Tuesday that we talked.
Yeah. Oh,
Tuesday
yeah.
that you sent
Maybe
that
even
thing.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that text until that afternoon.
Isn't that bizarre?
So my phone is terrible.
Mine doesn't do that. Mine doesn't do that.
I wish mine didn't. And it's like you're saying, people say, well, it's your service or
Yeah, it's just
well, both my phones are on Verizon.
yeah. It's mine's.
One
I
of
think
them is fine.
Mine's Verizon, and it's but mine does other stuff. Boy, I get spam calls all day long.
Yeah.
I started
Oh, yeah.
answering. But I'll get a call. And I'll say, would you be interested in taking a cash offer for your vacant land? I'm asking
then
them.
they hang up.
They hang up. Golly.
I usually won't answer if I don't know
What are
what it
they
is.
thinking? What person says, yeah, I'll talk to you about that?
Well, they
you're-
probably
you're-
make-
You're dealing with a person that's mentally unstable that would accept that as a real call.
They're probably calling. Well, first of all, it's a computer calling you.
Yeah.
So they can set that thing, just call a number, and they can do thousands of calls in a day. If they hit on 2 of them,
1% or a 0.001.
0.1%, then they're going to make.
I had some
Some
guy
money.
call me and said, would you be interested about? I said, yeah, sure. And he'll text me and I'll ask him another stupid question. I've had this guy answering questions for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, he won't call you back.
Last thing I asked him, I said, does the firewall meet current zones, current code requirements? And he must be.
See, I won't even answer them. But what I got, they've quit, at least for a while. But I was getting a call 2-3 times a day from your loan is approved.
Oh,
but we're this close.
Yeah, we're that close.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
need one, and it's a
Yeah.
recorded
Yeah.
message that's saying it, and I go block. Well, then he'd come another number.
Right.
Same thing. Block another
Hey, I had
number.
one guy do that. They called and said, we've approved that loan you called about. And so I was when I was going to Knoxville. So for an hour and a half, I called the number back. And I said, I've approved your loan. I did that for an hour and a half, all the way to Knoxville. And finally, some guy answered. He must have been from Nigeria or something.
You must have been needing that loan.
Oh,
pretty bad.
And he said, Robert, he said, we'll quit calling if you agree to quit calling. And I said, okay. And we both quit.
And they stopped.
Stopped that one.
That's good. That's good. I had heard that part of the government shutdown affected the don't call list.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of people are getting a lot more now because of that. But I don't know. I figured that was all computerized anyway. It never did me any good. I still get the spam anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And my phone
What are
will
you gonna
say
do?
likely spam or something.
Potential spam is what mine says.
Yeah.
Which always means that equals actual spam.
And then I'll get a call from Limestone, Tennessee. I get those all the time. I don't even know if there is a Limestone,
the thing is now, though,
Tennessee.
it used to be you could look at that and go, well, that's a local number, so
Yeah, right.
I'll get it. But
Right.
people have phones from so many different places now, especially with Kona.
Yeah.
I'll get phones from California
You almost have to
or
answer it.
Canada or whatever.
You can't say, hey, you
Well,
SOB.
The problem is if I don't answer,
Yeah.
a lot of these people are just going down the line calling their ice cream
Yeah.
providers
Yeah.
or snow cone
Sure.
providers or whatever. And so if you don't get that phone call, they're going to take that next one. Now, we've been around long enough now that most people that call us are fixated on Kona. They want Kona to be
Right.
what they want for what they're doing. So it's not as big an issue as it used to be. And I don't answer all those calls like I used to, but it is an issue. And I don't know how you fix it. I don't. It's good that we're able to weed some of them out, but it's just an aggravation that I think not just business owners. I mean, we get them personal. You get them, don't you? We all get them. So
It's just part of it. I do also answer this and then block that number. I figure, well, that's one I can block for a while.
but it comes back.
It comes back.
It just different
That's
number.
why we almost have to just start texting people. And then I'll get texts. Donald Trump's texted me all last week.
Did he? Wow. Are you on his good list or
I
his
don't know,
bad
he
list?
just keeps texting me. That's crazy.
Is he wanting money?
Do y'all sell ice cream sandwiches on the truck?
We used to have ice cream prepackaged.
Yeah.
I can give you a couple stories on this. The truck was designed to have a freezer for ice cream, and then a freezer for ice, and then the middle is just like a bin that your ice kind of cures in that bin. So you don't need really frozen ice going into the shaver, not hard frozen.
Yep.
It needs to be just a little soft, so it doesn't ruin your blade. You get a good cut then. So we were with, when we started, we were with a distributor out of Atlanta. And they had good humor, and I can't remember. It was all premium ice cream. Starbucks, they had some of their stuff, and we were using their stuff, but I could only get them every 3 weeks. That's very hard to manage an inventory when you can only get it every 3 weeks. And I was doing what I could, and then they quit coming to Cleveland. They said, you'll have to meet us at Camp Jordan. So I would have to drive a truck down there to get the ice cream and put it in and bring it back. And then they said, well, we're not coming that way anymore, so you'll have to get another distributor.
That's crazy.
Well, like a week later, I see them driving through town, so I was like, I must have said something wrong or something, I don't know. So we went from that, we went to Bluebell. And Bluebell had great ice cream. You know, we did novelties, ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they had an ice cream sandwich. Chocolate chip cookies and all that sort of stuff. And it was great, and we were doing awesome with it. And then if you remember Bluebell in the news, they had a listeria problem that came out at first, and 2 of the items I had on my menu, we had 12 items. 2 of the items I had on my menu were in that batch. They weren't from the plant, but it was the same item.
Which was bad enough, right?
Yeah, right. So they said, we're not going to have those anymore. We won't ever make those again. So I said, okay, so everything else is cool. Oh, yeah. So I replaced those with a couple other items. Well, I called Kona. Kona makes our menus. We have menu boards, you know, that we put up there, decals. And I said, here's what I need. I sent them the mock-ups and everything. Okay, so they send me, you know, at that time I think I had 3 or 4 trucks. I don't know. Didn't have 5. But anyway, I've got all of these. So I did not even have a chance to get those up on the truck before Bluebell came out in the news again that they had another listeria outbreak and they were closing everything down. So, and you couldn't get Bluebell of any kind for about 2 years there. So I had all those menus that I'd bought that I went... So I thought, well, let's talk to the good folks at Mayfield. Golly, I'm bad-mouthing all these people. I don't know if this is a good thing here.
Nobody's watching still.
Well, so we had Mayfield to come down. I was working with them, and that was good because I could get 3 times a week you could order from them, which I didn't need them that often.
Yeah.
But, you know, they had their stuff that they produced, and then they also had, I think they had Good Humor and some other novelties. And so we were doing that, and my driver was great, and everything was awesome. And it got to where I'd put an order in, and I'd get half of it. And I put an order in, I'd get a quarter of it. The last time I put an order in, I ordered, I think it was 58 cases of ice cream. They had 4. You know, I said,
you can't operate like
I said,
that.
and you make that ice cream?
Yeah.
And he said,
In
yeah.
Athens.
I said, are you still
Yeah.
are you still in the ice cream business? He says, it doesn't look like it, does it? And so at that point, we were getting to the point where our shaved ice volume was getting so big that I really needed the room for ice because we would do events that I was constantly having to take ice to them because we didn't have enough to get through that. So at that point, I just quit doing ice cream. And so we've just done the Konas since then. We do have smoothies now. We'll have that on 3 trucks next year.
Stick with what's working.
Right.
People are going to spend $4, and it don't really matter what you got.
Well, ice cream was more of an adult thing because the kids always wanted to make that Kona. And we have a lot of adults that like Konas too. We've got a lot of flavors like blackberry mojito, lavender lemonade, things like that.
I bet the lavender lemonade's good.
That's really more for adults, although kids like them too. So we try to cover everybody with that. And the smoothies have been a big hit with, older kids and adults. It's just pure fruit smoothies. Strawberry banana, mango, tropical breeze. They're really, really good. So we're doing that. But we won't have the ice cream again with a Kona truck now. There may be some other concepts coming up that you might see ice cream with, but not with what we're doing right now. That's just...
if we had 2 lifetimes to live, we'd do something else, wouldn't we?
I'll tell you what, if I could have gotten into Kona when I was 25,
Yeah.
wow. But, I'm happy. You mentioned it earlier about, being happy with what you do.
Yeah.
And I really like my life balance. As you know, with being in any business, you're on call 24/7.
Yeah, with any business.
You're never going to get away from that. And that's usually not an issue, but it can be uncomfortable at times.
Sure.
But otherwise, I'm not tied to that truck. And I really enjoy being out on the truck. I just don't get to do it much because, with 5 trucks, there's a lot of troubleshooting. And I just have so many other things I have to do. Sometimes I long for the days when I had 1 truck and I was the one out there running it. But because it's so much fun being on there.
But they don't want a franchisee that's just going to run 1 truck. They can't make any money themselves.
Well,
right?
I probably could have kept just Cleveland with 1 truck. But it's really, the money is really not enough for 1 truck, especially nowadays. You really needed at least 2 to make a living. And as with any business, you
got to have economies of scale.
And it took me, 3 to 5 years before it was making enough money to where, that's when I totally got out of Subway, is when Kona started pulling its own weight, and then I totally got out of it then.
Did Danny Patel's group buy those 13?
Not from us.
I thought he was looking.
I couldn't tell you who has them now. Yeah. I don't really know. I'm so far removed from it. I had, we sold to a group from Knoxville and a group from Lenore City, 2 different ones. Most of our trucks went there. And then the last 2 I sold to my partner that I had at that time. And then he ended up, I don't know who ended up with those stores. He doesn't have those now. But I don't know what's happened since then. I know they were wanting that one on 25th. They were wanting a drive-through window, and there was a big stink about that with the zoning board. And they ended up not getting a drive-through.
Our Cleveland zoning is real helpful to people.
That's the sarcasm, I'm assuming. But, I've had a great life. I mean, everything I've done has been enjoyable, and I feel like I have contributed, certainly monetarily, with what we've done with Kona and with what we do with Subway. I feel like, I hope that the things I've done have really kind of helped with the quality of life that people have experienced here in Cleveland, as well as the other places that we've been. I can't complain about anything. Everybody does, but I think if you don't have a life of gratitude, you don't have a happy life. And I'm grateful for everything that I've been able to get involved with and everything I've been given. And anyway.
Everything's going great, isn't it?
Everything's going great for me. It is. Oh, I got a funny story. Can I go back to a funny story?
Sure.
Are we almost done? Or are we?
Yeah, go ahead.
What time is it? How long we go?
Oh, it's just 6:30. We got time.
Is it 6:30? Are you serious?
Time flies.
Oh, my goodness. I told this story when I was on with Mike Lee on the Oldies channel, the new 99.1. This has nothing to do with anything. I just want to get this story in. Going back to music, concerts. Back in 1980, I went to the Omni in Atlanta, and I saw The Who. And this was about 6 months after, you remember in Cincinnati?
The Stampede?
It was about 6 months after that.
11 died.
Yeah. And so there was kind of an edge to everything there, you know, and we did not tell my parents any of that, but we went to see the Who. And I was there with a few friends. And we were sitting up in the riser, you know, like you were saying, get up high. We were up a little high. We were up there kind of side of the stage over there. And, you know, the Who back then, that was wild. It was coming off of that, you know, the Stampede. It was crazy. And we hear commotion going on behind us. And I looked around, and a guy had come out of the top deck. You know, there were 2 decks there. He'd come out of that top one and had landed on some people. Nobody got hurt. Now, it sounds awful. It sounds like, well, that's like a 200-foot drop. It's not. You know, if you're right on the edge of the deck and you just drop
14 feet.
at the most, it might not even be that much. And so, but they had him, you know, they had him with his arm like an animal, you know, had him hog-tied. And they were carrying him out of there, and he's just kicking and screaming while they're carrying him out. And, you know, we watched the rest of the show and everything. You already know about Tokens, so we're going to go back to Tokens here. A couple years later, I'm at Tokens, and there's been a change in management. They have a new manager, and this manager brought in an assistant manager. And I'm talking to the assistant manager when he comes up here. He's from Atlanta. And we're talking about music, you know, and stuff, and concerts that we've been to. You see where this is going, don't you? And he says, I tell you what, he says, my favorite concert that I've ever been to is The Who. He said, I saw them a couple years ago down there at the Omni. And he said, I just loved them so much. I was up in that top deck, and I had to get out of there and get to them. And I jumped off that deck. I said, that was you?
What are the odds? What are the odds?
So now here's the kicker. He ended up, you're not going to believe this, he didn't pass his drug test. So he was not our assistant manager for very long. But yeah, what are the odds?
What are the odds?
That's crazy. But yeah, I know.
I have stuff
like
like that.
20,000 people in that place.
And you know,
in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. And in the little bitty spot in Tokens. And just happened to be talking to you.
Yeah. Well, and where we're sitting.
Yeah.
You know, he's like 3 rows behind us is where he hits.
Because so much going on, they probably, what are the odds?
It was crazy. It was crazy. It was...
Life is stranger than fiction.
It is.
And who said that? Mark Twain?
Did Mark Twain say that?
I think he said...
He said enough stuff, so
yeah,
we'll give it to him. But yeah, that's my funny story. Was that funny? Was that good?
Fun. That's funny stuff.
All right.
Well, hey, I'm going to go home and watch something on TV and eat some pizza. Hey, I appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Dee.
I want you to come back.